Dark Fringe Radio, your premier source for the paranormal, conspiracy theory and true crime. This episode started with the Buffalo shooting event that happened 2 weeks ago. Before we were able to finish editing that episode, another senseless tragedy happened at Robb Elementary in Uvalde, Texas. We decided to record another episode, and we will combine the two, and release it as one larger episode.
Coming to you live from the Mistopheles Studios, it's Dark Fringe Radio.
Letting me in.
Good evening, everybody. Thanks for coming in on another edition of Dark Fringe Radio. I am your host, Will Martinez, and I'm here tonight with my two guest hosts, of course, Jay Galosi, and of course, my cousin Peter Brew from Shots Fired, the podcast. And thanks, guys, for joining me in another edition of Dark Fringe Radio, man. I really appreciate it tonight. Yeah, we got a lot to talk about tonight. We're actually going to go on the true crime tip tonight, guys. We're going to be actually talking about a very serious case that actually happened a couple of days ago, or a few days ago from this recording. But we're going to be really examining the Buffalo shooting incident that just happened, where 10 people lost their lives, 13 people were actually totally attacked and were wounded. 3 survived, 10 died. And we're going to be getting to a little bit of the ins and outs of, what's going on in that case. And so far, what the information that we know and how it kind of like parallels a lot of these cases that's happened in the just most recent history, of course. So we'll be getting into all that here in a second. So a very serious episode of Dark Fringe Radio. But before we get into all that, we're going to get into the intro. Jay and Pete, want to remind everybody how you can listen to the podcast. Really simple. Go to our website, darkfringeradio.com. You go straight there. You can see all the episodes. You can stream them. They're all at the top right-hand corner. The latest episodes at the bottom, the YouTube link right there. It's all right there ready for you. So there's no excuse not to get your fix on Dark Fringe Radio. So make sure you go ahead and do that. Make sure you subscribe, go to our YouTube, all that stuff. Make sure you give us love. We always love that stuff. So please give us that support. Absolutely. And of course, that's it. And of course, I want to mention my cousin's podcast as well, Shots Fired, the podcast. We're ready to do another episode pretty soon. So you can find that on Facebook.
Let's go.
Shots Fired, and SoundCloud. Absolutely. So we've already recorded.
We'll get there soon. Let's go.
Absolutely. So that's it for the intro, guys. I wanted to kind of jump into a story that I'm going to surprise you both with here and take like a lovely left turn. So I was digging around this whole thing about the whole, Buffalo shooting thing that's been happening. Of course, I kind of wanted to give it a little bit of time to see what, more of the information that was going to come out. Of course, the history behind, what was going on. A lot of stuff did come out, and we're going to get into that here in a little bit. But another story that I kind of fell into and actually posted it in our website. And it's the name of the article is named Army's New PSYOP Recruitment Ad Looks Like a Terrifying Video Game Cutscene.
I saw that.
Did you see this, Jay?
I did.
So, Pete, let me just inform you real quick. So there was this recruiting video that I thought was fucking fake as fuck, but it's real. And it's from the Army. It's the U.S. Army. It's a recruitment video. And it really talks about using PSYOP wars against other countries. PSYOP meaning like psychological warfare. Making people think that you're weak, but you're not. You know what I mean? Attack them. All this, art of war bullshit. You know what I mean? That's not bullshit, but it's art of
form of manipulation.
Exactly. Okay. Fighting without having to fight, kind of thing. Sure. That art of war shit. So, yeah, man, this video is 3 minutes long, and it really does look like it's fake, but it's not, man. I've never, bro. Let's play it real quick because first I didn't believe that this was real. But I was like, and then I really looked into it, and I was like, yeah, it's real. It's really
we know Metal Gear Solid. We know Metal Gear Solid is my favorite, so I'm in.
We'll see.
We'll
see how it looks.
I'm in.
Regardless.
So you guys on YouTube won't be able to see this, but just look up "Ghosts in the Machine," and you should be able to find this there pretty quickly. And let me know if you guys hear this or not. Good? You hear this? Can you see this or no?
No.
No? Hold on. How about now?
Scene.
Yeah. If you're
Okay.
phoning.
Check this shit out.
As the world watches and listens in horror, the peaceful pro-democracy demonstration in China comes to a violent and bloody end. Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall.
Wolves hiding nearby, whispering do or die around me. You say your last goodnight while I
There is another very important phase of warfare. It has as its target not the body, but the mind of the enemy.
The target of psychological warfare is against the enemy's mind.
It is words and ideas.
Ammunition used by Psy-War.
Its mission is to influence the thoughts of the enemy soldier, and at the same time
is expected and encouraged to study foreign languages and the social sciences such as history, economics, and sociology. He must have a broad and sympathetic understanding of all phases of human experience.
gripping at my skin, the walls of night closing.
But the use of this force as an integral part of combat has now taken on new form. These are the Psy-War soldiers.
So yeah, that's for real.
Right on.
I mean, everything that I've ever talked about in this podcast when it comes to conspiracy theories and about how governments do that to other governments, and people are like, oh, they would never do that to you. They would never do. If they're willing to do that to another country, you see the things that they're implying there, obviously, right? You know what I mean? Right. That they infiltrate every form of entertainment, advertising, everything, and how they could, basically teach you how to be like that. Isn't that some crazy shit?
Manipulation, man.
I mean, do you think they've made a video like this because it's appealing to the video game community too now? Maybe these guys, you don't think so? No? Don't you think a lot of, these people that would have, maybe recruited some of those guys or, that turn into gamers are really good at, like first person shooters and stuff like that? You think they've lost some of those people to, gaming, and they want to kind of maybe bring those people in somehow?
People that want a game are going to go do the, if they're going to do something of that AI on that AI level, they're gonna go. A gamer themselves is gonna go to the army. They don't need to be, you know what I mean, because they're already in their world.
Right.
They don't need to go. They don't have to leave their home, or you know what I mean. They're perfectly fine in their own little situation that they got at home playing COD.
Yeah.
So the army, like that. So I mean, I could see, but at the end of the day, they're gonna be like, why the fuck am I gonna go through 6 weeks of basic training if I could just stay my ass home?
Yeah, actually, look.
I don't want to do push-ups, Mom.
Yeah, it's too lazy, right?
You know what I mean?
Too lazy, right?
I can see what you're saying though, because at some point,
right,
like given the situation here with this Buffalo situation, just people of that sort might look at that as a way out, and in their minds say, kind of justify it to themselves that is in fact okay to do. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you got some people that just don't have that self-esteem, that aren't strong-willed. Easily manipulated.
Oh, absolutely.
So if they keep hearing and seeing the same shit, it's gonna be they're gonna justify it themselves, and they're gonna act upon it. So
just much like what we were going to be talking about tonight with this whole debacle.
Right.
So
the whole Buffalo I can definitely see where you're coming from, though, for sure.
Yeah, I mean that's the vibe that I'm getting, as I'm like, damn, man, that looks like it's just catered to like the kid now, like that. Oh, I play Call of Duty, you know what I mean? Look at this looks cool as fuck, you know what I mean? I could do this in real life, you know what I mean? I don't know. It really gave it that vibe. You know what I mean? That's what it kind of looked like to me. But that's what they're supposed to do. It's a recruitment video, right? That's what you're supposed to do, right? It's doing its job, right? Right, Jay?
I mean, that's
right, Pete?
kind of marketing, right? That's kind of what it is.
Yeah.
The only thing I would point out, and this is just me. I mean, you know me, I just point things out from time to time. Only thing I would point out just would possibly, if things are supposed to be so shadowy and mysterious, they do a really good job of editing and promos.
Oh, listen, there's accounts like how much money that the military spends just on media alone.
I'm not saying it. I'm
making videos, propaganda videos.
I'm not saying it doesn't exist.
Yeah.
I'm simply saying that if they're telling us about it, it's either A, already going on, and B, way worse than we think it is.
I mean, it's like when we go back when we think about
that's what I'm saying.
Remember in the late 90s where there was a lot of those videos circulating about those guys who were beheading, US, soldiers, and reporters and all that. Remember that? They actually concluded that was actually the United States making those videos, and they were fakes. So and they were spending, millions upon millions of dollars a year just on these videos, these propaganda videos. And it's just like what they're showing here. It's psychological warfare. They want you to think one thing, obviously, they want you to find a bad guy, common denominator. And that's the guy that you're going to blame. And, we're going to all jump on board and, we're going to do what, they want us to do. And that's just, the way it is.
It's easy.
It's easy. It's easy.
It depends. No, it's easy. No, hold on.
No, it's easy when you've infiltrated everything. When you've infiltrated everything, it's easy.
For us, lousy Americans, we are susceptible to shit like that.
Okay? Oh, absolutely.
We are not like these third world countries, bro, that'll go to war for their shit.
Right.
This land is in fear of what could happen to us.
Right.
That's the only reason. Not yet. But at some point, we are not. Nobody's going to do anything. Nobody's going to do anything radical. Nobody's going to take over. The Capitol was the worst thing that they did.
Yeah.
That was
Yeah.
Come on.
Did you ever think that would ever happen in your lifetime? Never.
Bro, that shit was the funniest shit ever.
Yeah.
I'm not even going to say. I'm like, whatever. I'm not like. Okay.
It was funny until that one girl got shot right in the head when she tried to break through that door. She got capped right there. And I was just like, boom, that's kind of ugly, man. That's not good. That's not good.
No, that's not good at all.
It's not good. Yeah. whatever side she was on, that still was just bad looking, no matter what, you know.
She was definitely on the wrong side of the
right. Listen, I'm not here to judge, but at the same time, but yeah, but she did it. She brought it upon herself. She brought it upon herself, you know. Listen, if you do stupid things, you
play silly games, win silly prizes.
There you go. I was too inebriated to bring that out. Thank you, Jay.
Hey, that's what I'm here for. Professional broadcast. Why I went to college.
We got this.
Cool for this shit.
Absolutely. Well, listen, I just wanted to bring that up because I thought it was really interesting. When I saw that video, I was like, this has got to be fake. And then I went to the website at the end of the thing and it's real. I was like, I looked at the recruitment thing and it's like they gave all the fucking base camps and everything and the recruitment people to call and everything. I was like, this shit is for real. Yeah. They were talking about all the forts and bases in North Carolina. That's like the main hub there, of course. But anyways, yeah, pretty crazy shit I found on the internet.
Nothing else to do in North Carolina.
Standing the woods with a mask on.
Yeah. You know what, though? There's a lot in California, too. Let me tell you what. A lot of them in California.
There's a lot of land out there. That's
a lot of land. Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
What?
Lands of the hippies.
Some in California, too?
Oh, yeah,
what?
yeah. Oh, yeah.
Let me show you my surprise face.
This guy. Holy God. All right.
I told you. I told you. I'm contained.
Yeah, Jay's in a bad mood tonight, by the way, guys. Yeah. Yeah, Jay.
He got tested.
Yeah, he's got a little vinegar and running through his veins tonight. So, but anyways, that was, again, like a story I wanted to bring up and get your guys' opinion on. I thought it was pretty fucking cool. But yeah, so that brings us to our next segment for tonight, which is Jay's segment, of course, which is What the F Florida Man. And of course, this segment is a segment of Jay goes to the internet and looks for the most ridiculous news category or news story that's coming out of this great state of Florida that we all live in, that we all were born and raised in. So, Jay, what do you have for us this week for What the F Florida Man?
Man calls 911. Tells police they need to test his meth because he thinks he got stiffed and they should arrest the dealer.
That sounds like a very Florida thing to do.
That definitely sounds like it's in Duval County. Where's this at?
Duval, yeah. A Popka. A Popka.
Where's this at?
Where's this at, Jay?
Yeah, see, you guys ask me those questions like I remember.
Oh, no, listen, I can do some quick research. Go ahead, Jay, tell the story. Go ahead.
So, in the story, the guy refers to it as methamphetamine. Every single time. He makes sure it's in there, methamphetamine. He doesn't just call it meth, he calls it methamphetamine. He calls 911, says he needs police over to test his methamphetamine because he believes that it is not actually methamphetamine. So he wants the police to test it, take the dealer to jail. So what ends up happening, of course?
Let me pause you real quick there, Jay, real quick. Can I pause you real quick? So this comes out of Spring Hill. Of course, shit. Right? Hernando County, right there out of the middle. There it is. Right there in the middle of the state of Florida.
Dead center.
Is it?
Like Tampa. It's kind of like Tampa. Yeah, a little bit, but a little bit north. Yeah, Thomas Eugene Colucci. Not to be confused with Colosi.
No. That's exactly where I was at.
Yeah.
When I was reading the story, I was like, I'm going to make sure I enunciate this guy's name very clearly.
Thomas Eugene Colucci. It's not Colosi. Close though.
My face dropped.
What? He don't even look like you. He's a bald ass motherfucker. You'll see the picture out there right now. You'll see that shit now. But go ahead, Jay. Tell us the story. This fucking is crazy. Go ahead.
So, man calls 911.
Yeah.
Tells the cops to come test his methamphetamine. Police arrive. He gives them the story and 2 bags.
Yeah.
He is a seasoned drug user, expected a different sensation, which is why he knows it's not methamphetamine. So the police test it. It is actually bath salts.
Oh, yeah.
And they arrest him.
Perfect. Yeah, and they arrest him, and then on the way to arresting him, taking him to this thing. He said, "Oh, I have chest pains. They got to take him right to the hospital."
Oh my God, he OD'd.
OD'd, yeah. He was having chest pains.
Jesus Christ!
I just read that right now. Oh, out of Spring Hill. Yeah, that's actually very common at Spring Hill. That meth is running rampant over there, bro.
Well, damn, thanks, bro.
If you say so, William.
I know that's what I hear. I hear shit. Yeah. They have meth vans and shit like that, man. Making meth out of, man, it's crazy out there. You ever heard of those meth vans blowing up in Spring Hill? Come on, don't tell me I'm the only one. That's true. Like they're mobilized meth vans, man. They're like they're cooking meth out of these vans.
Mobilized meth vans.
Hey, Pete,
it's like Breaking Bad, but redneck version.
You've heard about all those that happen there in Spring Hill. You've heard about that, right? Haven't you, Pete? No. I mean, I know I hear about one every other Tuesday.
Jesus Christ.
No, I've never heard of that at all.
Me neither.
Oh man, I heard about all that shit.
I'll make sure not to make that left. I promise.
No, Spring Hill, stay away, especially for the vans. Those motherfuckers will blow up, bro.
Through it, guys.
Especially with my travel Sudafed.
Oh Lord,
I need it for bedtime. Leave me alone.
Oh my God, stop.
Well, his bond was set for $7,000, so he had to come up with $3,500 or what? No, 700. 700. Yeah. Sorry, don't ask me how I know that, but hey, but yeah, I mean that's a fucked up story.
My guess is the same way. You know that there's always shit blowing up in Spring Hill, William.
Bro, there are mobilized vans with meth in it, bro. I'm telling you,
I was just gonna say that.
It's true.
Mobilized vans, guys. All right,
they're making meth out of vans, bro. It's crazy. This shit's blowing up.
Show me a picture. I don't believe
bro. I'm gonna find that shit right now. Don't even
pictures or it didn't happen. Pictures or it didn't happen.
Where do you go? Where do you get on DuckDuckGo? Or is it DuckDuckGo?
DuckDuckGo. Yeah.
DuckDuckGo. Brought to you by.
Oh, look! I already found it. Look.
Here we go.
Look. I'm gonna share it right now. Look. So you guys think I'm bullshitting, right? Hold on.
No, but you are fun to fuck with.
Hey, I know. Look at this. Mobile meth lab found in the van parked at Walmart as officials warn meth use on rise in cities and suburbs. Where's this? Oh, this is Pennsylvania.
Pennsylvania.
Yeah, my bad. Okay,
well, you know what? I could say it.
I was going to say that's a Walmart thing.
I was just going to say that. I see that. You see that too.
I'm looking at.
Good.
Let's see.
Spring Hill, man. Spring Hill.
Oh, look.
Okay.
Look at all these
brothers charged.
Look at all these vans blowing up in Spring Hill. There's all over the place.
What's going on here? Oh, brothers charged with running meth lab right here. Inverness. That's like right next to Spring Hill. Look at that. I'm telling you, man. It's true. It's true. You got to stay out of there, bro. Stay away from those vans in Spring Hill, bro. It's like an urban legend, but that shit's for real, bro. Like the fucking Candyman. That shit's for real, though.
I swear to God, guys. Seriously, it happened.
Look, man, it looks like this too. Look, just like this, like that. And that shit goes kaboom, bro.
Brought to you by Kona Ice.
Kona Ice, baby. Ain't Mr. Gator, but hey.
It's not
remember Mr. Gator?
Nah.
No, remember Mr. Gator though? That was the shit, no? That
Mr. Gator.
Yeah, that was that lemonade slushy.
The polar cup, bro.
Oh, that's what I was talking. Okay, the polar cup. That's the one. But there was the Gator Ice one though, too. Remember Gator Ice?
That's a Mandela effect shit.
Oh yeah.
Anyway,
don't make me look it up.
All right, guys.
Let's not get
too much weed.
Let's not get stuck there.
No, we're not gonna go down that hole. No, fuck that. Anyways, Jay, thanks for that. Thanks for that story on Spring Hill, man. Of course, going fucking absolutely crazy on the meth. But of course,
world's saddest superhero. He is Spring Hill Man.
Yeah, making sure the meth is positive.
Tooth.
Who let this guy out?
Oh, Spring Hill. Spring Hill. So we're gonna get to our main subject here for tonight. So please, guys, strap on, get ready, and hope you guys enjoy the rest of the podcast.
Hey, this is M.R. Gorga, author of the best-selling book Demons Among Us, shocking real-life stories from the paranormal. You're listening to Dark Fringe Radio.
All right, guys, thanks for tuning back in with us here at Dark Fringe Radio. And we're going to get into it tonight. Like I said, very serious podcast. We're going to get into true crime stuff and a little bit of the conspiracy theory stuff that kind of surrounds it as well. But really serious topic for tonight. We're going to be talking about the Buffalo shooting incident. And of course, if you guys have been living under a rock the last few days, there's a mass shooting in Buffalo that happened at a Tops grocery store. That were killed on this past Saturday, which was a few days before this recording. It's a very sad situation because, we're starting to see more and more of this. Unfortunately, it just seems like every week it's another one. I think in a way, as a nation, we're becoming a little bit desensitized to it in a way, because I don't think it really affects us as much as I think it should affect us. I think the reason because of it is because it happens so frequently. It's a very sad situation. So if you guys don't know, this guy, he decided to go into a Tops grocery store and gun down 13 people. He killed 10 out of those 13. There was an online video that was posted on Twitter and also his Discord and his Twitch channel that actually gave first person account of what happened. I don't recommend you guys go check out that video, but it is a very harrowing video. If you're not mature enough to watch something like that, don't watch it. That's all I can say. But at the same time, all this stuff is out there, and it's very sad because you don't ever want to see, one of your loved ones like that, being forever glorified in a video that's, running around online. You know what I mean? So again, it's a very sad situation. This gentleman was supposedly from all accounts, a white supremacist. He had a manifesto that was posted on, I guess it was his Discord channel. And it basically talked about, a lot of the issues that he had with, when it came to minorities. He also adopted a pretty interesting conspiracy theory called replacement theory. I don't know if you guys read any of that or not, but we'll get into all that here in a second. But again, this guy was able to purchase this type of gun down 13 people. He had supposedly racial epitaphs on the gun itself, supposedly solidified more that this was an attack of racial
crime.
manner. Yeah, it was a hate crime, and it was a terrorist attack in a way. I mean, it's a domestic terrorist attack. You know what I mean? It's
I believe it falls more under a genocidal, delusional, tragic happenstance where an individual has shaken it to the core. I mean, it's sad. It's sad that it's not a bigger deal than it should be, and
right.
We're looking in all the wrong and what's being looked at is we're looking at all the wrong places.
Mm-hmm.
We're doing what we do. It's gun laws. It's
well because politicized right away. First off,
yeah,
right?
It's
used as banter between the both parties, and and they use that against each other and they throw that around each other like mud, and then nothing ever gets done, of course, because that's all they do. And at the same time, this stuff continues to happen. You know what I mean? And it's just getting worse and worse. I mean, and it's getting more and more brazen too. Like these people are like fucking putting this shit online. I mean, like,
well, but think about it, Will, right? Seems like things progress quickly these days, and it seems like everything is way more condensed than it used to be.
Right.
And ever since shutdown, ever since we did the whole quarantine thing that obviously didn't really work that much, and everybody had to start warding off what little circles they interacted with just to make sure that you only interact with that little circle, so that way nobody's getting sick and nobody's dying of COVID. Ever since then, everybody's on edge. Everybody's on edge. I have been having to deal with insurance today. Okay. And the guy tells me, I know you think you're the only guy going through this. All my customers are going through this because of supply chains and people are out of work, so they don't have money. It leads up to
it's a baby formula shortage right now.
Being on the edge. Exactly.
Who the fuck would ever think that would happen?
Out of everything, out of all things.
Right. Don't you think you want to feed the babies, right?
You would think.
You would
Or
think.
is that quality control?
Or is that enough quality control? Or is that quality control that's fucked up on its own shit?
Yeah. Who knows?
You know, who knows? Who knows what the real answer is? That's a whole. Oh, listen.
Well, that's another.
Yeah, that's a whole other. We could do a whole podcast just on that alone.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Yep.
But tonight we're talking about this guy and his name is Mr. Gendron. I don't even want to say his first name. He actually now, since a lot of more information has come out, he actually was kicked out of that store the night before. I don't know if you guys knew this or not. He was there, and the manager says, "Yeah, I remember kicking him out of the store the night before because he was acting, erratically, not acting like himself." And so it also goes back that the police were notified about his mental state and the things that he has threatened to do before while he was in school. He had threatened to. He wrote down that he was going to attack the school. Then he actually said that he lied after being interviewed. And then he said that he actually was going to do it, but he's like, he stuck to the story. So that's why he got away with it, basically, saying that it was just some kind of stupid thing that he wrote. And so again, listen, obviously this kid was, real about his intentions because of look what he did, obviously this past Saturday.
The signs are there.
The signs were there.
Like typically.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what is that? I mean, how sad is that for our child care service? Like,
well,
and that's what nobody's really even talking about.
And that's actually, he actually fucking mocked it. He was like, when I had Child Protective Services come by and they didn't give a shit, he even said that. He goes, I knew that the whole system was fucked up. That's what he said in his manifesto. So it's just like he mocked it. He knew. I mean, he knew that the system was it was broken.
It's a bunch of people basically just doing their job, and no more, no less, for no reason aside from the fact that they have bills.
But it depends too, because at the end of the day, these teachers are desensitized from the crazy shit these kids do anyway.
Absolutely.
So, you know what I mean? It's like and now, from when we were growing up, teachers' word was like the biggest thing. Mm-hmm. Now a teacher says something about somebody's kid, bro, the fucking mom goes off bad. Like, no, there's no fucking way. So there's only a certain amount that a teacher can get blamed for, you know what I mean? At that certain extent. But I do see what you're saying, because at the end of the day, teachers have to kind of, whether it's authorities, parents, whatever, I think it should be expressed, and they should. Again, it's hard to say. Mom was a preschool teacher, bro. Like, mom, she used to bring kids home from school, dude. Like,
yeah,
that does not happen. You cannot take a kid from anywhere. You know what I mean? So it's like
you'd be accused of kidnapping.
Yeah,
right.
Take you. So it's like,
right.
You see these guys, like the other kid that the one that shot over there down south in Hillsborough and Parkland.
Oh yes, yeah, that one. The Parkland shooting at the high school.
He was kind of off. Everybody knew he was kind of off.
Yeah, he was off. He was, yeah.
But at that same point, there were signs. And the thing again, we live in a society that's not considerate of anybody else's well-being.
Right. Right.
You know what I mean? So that's out the window. So I mean, there's so many ways we can look at it. But like,
right. Listen, I'm all about, I'm all about keeping your guns. Whatever you want to keep your guns, that's cool. Whatever, I'm down with that. But I'm also down.
Hold on. He didn't buy that. He didn't buy that gun. His dad bought that for him for his 16th birthday.
Oh, is that true? Because I heard that the gun shop where he actually bought it from temporarily closed because they were like saying, oh, you were like complicit in all this shit of all this stuff. Supposedly, so I guess I don't know if he bought it there or not.
I read somewhere that it was like his father bought it for his birthday or some shit like that. Or he had it.
He had it. So, but what the thing is, what I'm getting to is real quick is that he had this mental health issue, right? That popped up, and he actually was, he was put away in a facility for that, and he was evaluated because of this. That should be like automatically put into his file for when they do the background check for the concealed permit. So if that worked right away, that could have prevented this. I think. You know what I mean?
So
I think if they had measures better.
So AR is considered a rifle still.
Oh,
I'm not
even going to get into that debate. I know what you're talking about. Yeah,
you know what I mean. So,
Yeah.
technically,
right.
I mean, at the end of the day, bro, they're not. If I go in there, me being who I am,
Right.
with my one little charge on there, bro, they're not going to ask me for anything just because
Right.
I give them my ID. I'm over 21. He can
Right.
buy a rifle, shotgun.
Right.
And so at the end of the day, bro, it's not hard to get.
Right. No, it's not.
And that's kind of part of the problem is this conversation becomes a Second Amendment gun law conversation where we're going to start chasing our tails, trying to plug too many holes. There's not enough ways to plug all those holes. We're trying to figure out ways. Gun control it's a spider web. It unfortunately takes people being responsible first.
For sure.
Unfortunately, nobody's responsible because no one can be held accountable. And no one can be held accountable because everybody is just being sheep herded through a system, through a process to get.
But that's the problem. The system is fucked up. Yeah, the system is fucked up.
So where do we start?
They need better like reporting when it comes to, people having mental health issues and it going right to your file. Listen, the way the government, I guess there's a SIS system or something. They keep a file on everybody. That's how it usually works. It's in the database. They have like a central database and all that. That should be the way it should be getting reported right away, whether it's, inconsequential or not, whether it be. So that way they can look at it and say, hey, listen, let's look at this. Maybe this might be an issue. I don't know. You know what I mean?
So,
the one in the Parkland, unfortunately, he got the guns from his parents. So there's nothing you can do about that. You know what I mean? And that's the problem there too.
Well, and
the accessibility.
Right, that's the thing. People who want to get guns, whether they're planning on going on genocidal killing sprees like this piece of shit human was,
right.
Or if it's somebody who's planning to rob a liquor store because they, for whatever, like whatever your reason for wanting a gun, maybe you go hunting, whatever those reasons are, guns are always going to find a way to get the guns they want. The process should be in we're going to focus on the mental health of the human being and why they're going to go those routes, why they're going to have human interaction. If we actually start to have human interactions with one another and stop just going off what we assume because of whatever someone looks like or sounds like or comes from, and be open-minded to the other side, I bet we'd get a lot farther. And all these things would suddenly become less of a problem.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I think, I don't know. I mean, what do you think, Pete? What do you think? I talk too much.
I mean,
yeah, you do.
Easily, guns are, everybody knows everybody wants to fight for these Second Amendment rights. Until it's time
listen,
to fight. Hold on, right? So everybody wants to fight for these second.
Yeah.
Everybody wants to fight for these Second Amendment rights until it's time to fight for these Second Amendment rights.
Yeah.
Okay. At the end of the day, you remember when they were like, "Oh yeah, where martial law is going to come into effect? They're going to come take all our guns." It was like the first era of the whole Trump situation. When all that shit was going down, blah blah blah, martial law, all this, all that. Listen. It's like you said, it's a political loophole that they use to keep these things moving because it brings them money. So, the way the government doesn't seem hypocritical is by letting the weapons they so need for themselves because they distribute those same arms to other people, right? So how hypocritical would that be if they were doing it and not letting the people do it, right? Okay, so with that being said, I have something to address. I know we've seen those videos of these guys walking down police stations and shit with their ARs. I know we've seen those videos. And then the first thing, the cops will come up to them. They're like, hey, can you disarm your gun? This and this and that. Oh, well, this is my Second Amendment right. Blase squaze. They'll sit there with their phone, blah, 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 blah. What the fuck just happened, dude? This guy just walked up in a fucking supermarket with an AR, bro. And nobody did a damn thing. Then they wonder why that Second Amendment right is always tested by people, bro. You know what I mean? It's like they fight for the Second Amendment right, but at the end of the day, it's not. You're not gonna live or die by that. You know what I mean? Like freedom of speech. That's like the least battle to, what is it? The right to bear arms. Bro, keep that shit at your fucking house, bro. Because at the end of the day, if somebody coming into your house, you're less likely to that happen to you than anything in the world, bro. And yes, when he comes into your house, you do what the fuck you got to do. But out there, there's really no need, you know what I mean, to be caring exactly. But now we live in this fucking situation. Like I said, we got this guy like this, literally walks out there with an AR and nobody stops him or can't do anything.
Well, a guard actually shot him.
Oh, yep. Oh, okay.
So a guard shot him, but it hit him right in the tactical vest, and then the guy shot him and killed him.
Oh,
so he got a shot off on him, but it wasn't good enough. It wasn't. Got him right in the chest.
Former
it wasn't a headshot. Right.
Former police officer hit the guy in the tactical gear. But talking about a guard who was probably standing wide out in the open.
Oh, completely wide out.
Probably didn't have a lot of cover. Shooting at a guy's got a tactical, like there's no way. Like I was that valiant effort. God bless that man. I rest in peace.
Yeah,
that man's a hero. This other piece of shit.
Yeah, it was pretty bad, man. You know what I mean? When I first seen it, I sent it to him. I sent it to you, Poopy.
Yeah.
I sent it to him, bro. And I'm like, bro, look at this shit. And he looked at it. The first thing he said, is this real? What's the next thing I told him? I'm like, bro, don't nobody fall like that, bro, if it's not real.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I'm like, bro, I showed Tasha, she started tearing.
Right.
Bro, I'm thinking about my grandma, my mom.
Right.
Yeah.
Innocent people, because that's what it was. Just innocent people sitting there in the grocery store,
bro.
living their life.
You know what I mean? And then but there's one thing that I could take from this fucking video is people need to fucking be aware of their fucking surroundings.
Oh, absolutely.
Keep your fucking head up.
On a swivel.
Keep your fucking head up. Don't fucking, bro. There's one thing I always do, Tasha, bro. Me and my wife will walk into the restaurant, bro. I'm looking at the fucking door. My back is never to the door. My back is always looking at the entrance, looking at this one, looking at that one. In case
we grew up in Boynton.
You know what I'm saying? Bro,
it's just self-awareness. It's self-awareness,
though.
though.
Know where the fuck you're at, bro. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
These girls
and always like
phone, like, dude.
You know how many people that I've almost hit with a car that are crossing the street because they're looking at their phone and they're not even looking at the traffic that's coming by. It's like, dude, you could just got hit. You know what I mean? I've seen that a million times. I mean? So it's the same thing. You have to be aware of your surroundings. Keep your head on the swivel.
Bro. You have to, man. Especially, like that shit that happened over there down south at Parkland. You know what I mean? And bro, I'm not teaching my daughter, bro, to sit there on the no fucking desk. If you see fucking shots coming from the door, you bust the fucking window out. You take all them goddamn kids out there with you.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Like there's things that need to be done, bro, in situations like, again, I bring up third world countries because they're used to this shit. They hear bombs, shots fired, some shit, boom. Kids know what the fuck to do. They go down in the bunker, lock up, boom, shut the fuck up. Everybody be quiet.
That actually poses a really interesting question. You know what, Pete? You actually just brought up something that just, Australia, for instance, they have banned guns completely. They had a pretty bad, I think it was a school shooting, and a bunch of kids died. And from that point on, they got rid of guns completely. That's a completely going the whole way, the other way, right? End of the spectrum. They have seen a huge decrease. I mean, it barely ever happens, if ever now, over there where they have a situation where there's a massive shooter. What's your thoughts on that? Do you think it's too far off? Do you think that the U.S. could ever go there, or are we just too gun happy and too gun loving to go that way out? I mean, even in England too.
Take that, Jay.
What do you think? I don't know.
Take that one. I'll let Jay take this one.
It's an interesting question coming. Listen, you're talking about a whole country that,
Well, first off, William, brother. So there's no way. There's without civil insurrection on a massive scale, majority possibly Civil War style. If they were to come and try to take the guns, I say those, and I only say those because I personally do not own guns. I am not opposed to them. I used to live with someone who has guns. I have shotguns. I'm not a gun. I am pro-gun, pro-Second Amendment, but that's just me. I don't force it on nobody. I believe everybody should have a right to have a gun if they so choose. I also believe that to have said gun, person should also be said responsible person and have a certain list of things that they have to understand. Because in the realest terms, unless you are willing to take the guns literally out of every single human being's hands, you are not going to be able to keep them from coming over. Australia is in its own little atmosphere, its own little biodome.
It's in its
a
own
lot
bubble.
easier to police that. There are less people per capita. So that might work great for them. But you know what? I can't put diesel fuel in my car either. Yeah, similar, but not really. So not only could we not, I don't believe we should take guns away from those who want them. What I do believe that there should be is obviously more guidelines. I think there should be way more availability for training and safeties right now. Like I was actually, before I got my my medical card, because you can't have a medical card and a gun license. By the by, I find that
by the way, guys, if
really
you guys don't know that,
I find that to be really interesting. So I chose weed over guns, but that's me. I'm a pacifist.
What do you think they did? Do you think that's on purpose?
100%.
Yeah, of course.
I pulled back the Band-Aid.
well, you know what? FYI, you can't own a gun while you in California while you're growing pot. So,
you can't protect your own crops. That's great.
So somebody come and run up on you, bro. You can't have shit.
Yeah, no. Yeah. We can come steal your shit.
Back up, bitch. I got mace.
Right.
That's it.
Yeah.
Take it all. It's all on
I got a
me.
taser.
It's all on me, Pippin.
Scared.
Take it.
I got a knuckle duster. That's all I got.
I definitely agree with Jay though on that one. Like,
I agree with Jay, but on a different reason. I agree with Jay because you'll never get rid of the guns because now they even have ghost guns. You know what ghost guns are?
Yeah, the plastic.
Yeah, so like if you have a 3D printer,
saw the video.
No.
Oh.
If you have a 3D printer, you can make your own gun, Jay.
Yeah.
You can actually download the actual blueprint of the 3D model of any gun and have it just 3D made right there in your house.
Yeah.
And you can put it.
You know what I would do if I had a 3D printer?
Not that, but yeah. What?
No, I would not do that. Yeah, no, I'd be making out of use components for things that no longer are made, and I would sell them dirt ass cheap. That's what I would do. If I was technically smart enough to know,
like a high tech Sanford.
I'm not making guns, William. Come on,
godly. Oh my god, hilarious. But yeah, man. I mean, yeah, I learned about ghost guns and how that's all done, and then you could just basically download stuff and just make it, and you have a gun in a day or two. Just let the 3D printer do its thing, and it's made out of plastic, but it's just as good. You know what I mean?
Well,
Yeah, I was like, holy shit. I was like, that's some crazy shit. So yeah, like I said, I agree with you guys, but on a different reason, because you're just never going to be able to get rid of them. Now, if you can print them out of your own goddamn living room, you go like, hey, listen, I'll have a gun in an hour, Oh, you need some ammo. What you need? I got an hour. Come back in an hour. Yeah, come back. Yeah, come on. So, but so getting back to the story, another question I want to ask, the whole mental health aspect of this, man. It always seems to be one of the common denominators and common factors when it comes to these individuals that end up doing stuff like this, right? Another factor on top of that is the medication that they're on too. A lot of time, a lot of these, this medication that's not good for you, man. And, a lot of people are talking about that and how it could be, affecting these, kids in a very negative way and having them become completely desensitized to stuff like this. I mean, come on. I mean, listen, for nothing. One of the first things I told my cousin when he showed me the video and I saw it, right? I was like, first off, that guy was too cool to he was way too fat. Like it seemed like it was almost military. Like that's what it seemed like. It was too clean. And it was just on point every time. And I was just like, this kid is way too good. Like, how is this kid like this? Like, and then how calm he was when he reloaded too, which you got a little bit of the glimpse. He was just like, boom, 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 and gone again. And I was just like, wow, this kid is stone cold because he didn't after doing something like that. normally your adrenaline would be like running, right? And you'd probably be fumbling around, but no, this kid was like straight through. And
so
think
of this. Okay. You're talking about being desensitized. This guy literally set the GoPro on his shoulder.
Yeah.
So it could first person view what it would be like as if he was playing,
Call of Duty.
Thank you.
Or whatever.
I don't know why I had.
Yeah.
I don't do a lot of first person shooters, just so you know, guys.
Fortnite, whatever.
But
yeah.
You can see with where technology is today. We're just talking about a second ago how you can make a gun at your own home if you so choose. Technology right now has such few limitations, and so many people are finding so many new ways to apply it that it is expounding at a substantial and kind of alarming rate if you really think about it. So it's not that far a step to think that someone who is maybe mentally susceptible, possibly borderline psychotic, who is on a bunch of medications who are permanently messing up the brain chemistry that he has,
or he could just be like that.
Or he could just be a kid that doesn't know what the fuck he wants to do in life. Or it's just
that's true too.
You know what I mean? Or maybe a combination of everything.
But that's where I'm going. I think you could take that one step to say that he is so stuck in that virtual reality, he can't really decipher the difference between. He knows he can do that in Call of Duty, so he could be one of those that practices in his backyard. There are so many things you can learn, especially now that there's videos literally everywhere. You can pick anything you want up off the internet and learn it on your own if you have the aptitude, the time, and the patience. Which obviously, if someone's going to go through this, it's planned. They have the time. They have the patience. It's all leading up to this. This is a lifestyle for him. You say it's almost military style. That's what he was going for. He wanted everybody to think that he was a badass. And in reality, he's a psychopath piece of shit. Again, I keep saying that.
You're absolutely right. There's nothing wrong with what you're saying. No, listen, you're 100% right. I mean, there's no words of degradation that you could actually point to this guy that would be enough, for what he did. Again, just no consideration for human life. The way that he just did it, it was just like whoever was walking by. It was just like it was so like heartless. It's hard to. A lot of emotions. Yeah, because it was like whatever's moving, I'm gonna hit. I don't care. And that was pretty much it. And
the thing is, whatever he was going through, bro, it's like at this point in time of my life, bro, I don't give people the benefit of the doubt no more, because at a certain age, you know what I mean? At a certain age, I feel like you know what the fuck is wrong and right. You know what I'm saying? So, you know what I mean? And it's like, as much as we want to play that crazy card, bro, we can't be. Yeah, of course, it's crazy to a certain extent, but everybody's fucking different, bro. Like, like you said, you don't ever know what the fucking kid is going through. You don't know what he's watching. He could be watching Ghost in the Machine type shit. Fucking, watching
that video over and over again.
Watching exploding vans in Spring Hill. You know what I'm saying? Like,
it's true. It's true.
No, but these kids, because
it happens all the time.
You know what I mean? So these kids are just, it's like a downward spiral for them.
Yeah.
There's nothing positive, bro. They dig themselves
and then they attach this. They attach themselves to, whatever, extremist thing that they can find, whether it be white supremacy or whatever the case may be.
But guess how old was he? 16?
I think 16? He was 16 or 18. One of the two. He was, young.
I feel like somebody like that is like,
he was like 18.
I feel like somebody like that that's going through stuff like that always has to find a way to fit in. You know what I mean? Like, not fit in, but like they have to somewhat, like they have to be at the center of attention at some point, like, because they're just so off.
It comes from the feeling of not being good enough for anybody.
Yes.
They are off. Usually it's the same story. It's someone who's kind of a little bit off. Nobody really he's not really close with anybody.
Outcasting.
He's not violent. He doesn't go out of his way to make trouble. He tries to kind of just stay to himself and stay on his own. But what happens is they go into these public situations. You have these schools, these condensed institutions where you have kids like this guy who's off, and then you have other kids who are rough around the edges, who are really tough, who come from tough homes. Who knows what's going on in their homes? They see someone like that. That's someone they can pick on to feel better about themselves. It becomes a tragic cycle that just keeps replaying itself. But then this one person comes out.
And that's it. Yeah, bro. And that's it. That's how it comes out. Perfect example. You ready for this? The movie Higher Learning, baby.
Oh yeah,
Remy.
Absolutely.
Remy.
Yeah.
What happened with Remy? That's what I feel like this kid is, bro. Remy, dog.
By the way, if you guys have never seen that movie, go back and look that movie. That's a great cast of people in that movie. There's like 18 people that are like A-list actors now in that movie.
Omar Epps, Ice Cube.
Yeah.
Busta Rhymes.
There's a whole bunch of people there. Yeah. But no, you're right.
Man.
It's that guy that was picked on in middle school and high school that just kept it all together, and you know what I mean? Never went crazy. And then it's like the Joker, the movie The Joker. It's just like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just like that. You know, you just reach a boiling point and that's it. And then it's off. It's like a switch that turns off. That's the crazy part, right?
Just like crazy shit about it, man. That's just the crazy thing about it. Like I said, everybody wants to scream that, you know, crazy. He's crazy. Yeah, he's crazy to a certain extent, but he knew what the fuck he was doing.
Oh, he even said in his manifesto, he said he was either going to die in a shootout or he was going to spend the rest of his life in prison. He knew it.
Like Jay said, he put the GoPro on his shit. He knew what the fuck he was doing.
Oh yeah.
That's right there. Bro, you that crazy? Okay.
You know, he got exactly what he was going for.
Exactly. And guess what? They gave him some water. They took him in nice and peacefully. He's good to go.
Just like Dylan Roof.
He gets 3 hots in a cot while 10 families mourn.
Exactly.
That's the fucked up part. Yeah.
Should have put 10 in his ass too, bro.
Yep.
And if you look at this video, bro, and if you look at those fucking those pictures, the ones that I sent you, all of them were elderly, bro. All of them were all elderly. Like 30. They were all like over 40 years old.
50. Bro. Yeah, they're all like 50 something years old. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm just like, bro, I swear to God, I put.
Matter of fact, here, I got the list right here. Aaron Seltzer, 55. Ruth Whitfield, 86. Pearl Young, 77. Catherine Massey, 72. Roberta Dury, 32. Hayward Patterson, 67. Celestine Cheney, 65. Margus Morrison, 52. Andre McNeil, 53. Geraldine Talley, 62. And the 3 that survived, Zara Goodman, 20, Jennifer Warrington, 50, and Christopher Braden, 55. So, yeah.
2 of them under the age of 50.
Yep. That's it. So again, I mean, a horrible story. Again, you know, this is something that we have to constantly deal with here. And I hope we find some type of solution. I just don't ever think that we ever will, unfortunately. You know, it's too far gone.
I'm gonna give. You want to know the cure? You got the sickness.
Oh, here we go. Here we go.
I'm gonna give you the cure. People,
you're the disease, but I'm the cure.
No, I didn't go that
Here we
far. There, Schwartzer. No, here it is. And it's the easiest. It's really the easiest thing.
Let's hear it. What is that again?
Don't be all wrapped up in your phone. Don't automatically assume. Be open-minded. Be decent. Just be decent. Be decent to everyone around you. You don't always have to like them. Just decent, and you give people their own space. I bet money a lot of our problems would be a lot easier to solve. Unfortunately, nobody can do that because all of us, sometimes myself included, only want what we want, and we don't care otherwise. We are spoiled, rotten children.
Mm-hmm. That's right. That's true. I do believe that.
Watch out for those blowing up bands out there now.
It's Spring Hill.
That only happened in Spring Hill, Pete. We're
good, right?
These guys, man.
Spring Hill is the designated area. You got a van you need to blow up specifically with that?
Let me just tell you something real quick. When a van blows up in Spring Hill, don't come crying to me, and I don't want to hear no shit. Okay? They'll be like, "Oh, you're right." Oh, don't come. Don't text me. Don't text me. Just say you were right. Just say I don't want nothing to do with it. It happens, man. It's true.
I do. You know what? You're right, Will. You are so right. I've forgotten how many notifications I've gotten on my phone by saying van in Spring Hill blows up.
Explodes.
Oh my god!
I mean, it's just
we're still on the
I
Spring Hill
forgot.
shit.
I must get 8 of those things a day.
Anyways,
you're right.
But yeah, listen. Rest in peace to those people who passed away.
Yeah,
may their families find some type of solace in all this. It must be the most tragic thing, especially if all these people are elderly. These are people's mothers and grandmothers and stuff like that. Just sad. So again, we hope you guys find some type of peace in your heart, even after such a horrible event, such like this. And all we can do is just give our best thoughts and prayers to you guys. So we just hope that you guys make through that. So
Part 2.
All right, guys. Thanks for joining us. This is actually an add-on to an episode that we just recently recorded. This is a little bit of a somber episode because we actually recorded an episode regarding the Buffalo shooting, which will just kind of we'll add on to that last episode as well. But in the middle of the editing process, unfortunately, there was another shooting that happened within the 10 days of the Buffalo shooting, which was absolutely horrendous. And, I reached out to both of you guys and thank you guys for joining me again, of course, on Dark Fringe Radio. Of course, my cousin Peter Brew celebrating his birthday this weekend. So happy birthday to him.
Happy birthday.
Thank you. Happy birthday to you, buddy.
Appreciate it.
Love you very much.
Appreciate it.
And of course, my co-host Jay Galos. Jay is with me as always. Thank you so much, brother. But yeah, again, JG. Yep. But tonight it's again another somber episode because I couldn't even get the other episode finished edited before another fucking something happened, man, guys. And again, as I was telling the audience earlier, I've reached out to both of you. I said I don't even know which way to handle this because this has happened so soon, and it was fucking horrific of what happened. Horrific. Yeah. And we're gonna get into all the ins and outs and the details here in a second. But if you haven't, been looking at the news the last 10 days, first it was the Buffalo shooting, where a lot of elderly people were massacred in a racial type of profiling hate crime from obviously a sick individual. And then 10 days later, we have another shooting at a school in Uvalde, Texas, where an 18-year-old by the name of, I believe is Salvador something or other. Ramos. Yes. Salvador Ramos killed 21 people at elementary school in Uvalde, Texas. He was not confronted by police, as I thought earlier. There was a lot of conflicting information here, guys, that changed too, which I found very weird in this whole story because we were hearing a lot of conflicting information. We heard first that there was a guard there. There was a school cop on premises that, exchanged fire. And then, the school cop just didn't have enough firepower. And then it went to, there was no school cop there at all. Now we're hearing that a lot of things have changed. There's a lot of questions that have arisen from the response of the police and how they responded to this massacre. It's crazy because, at the base of this, guys, we're all fathers here. We're all parents, right? We all have children. There's always been a thing where you could feel safe sending your children to school, right? You've always felt there's always been that thing, throughout the beginning of the public school system, when it started all the way till now. Well, not so much recently because of all that's been going on, but for the most part, you would have enough faith that your children would be safe enough to go to school. You would think that the utmost priority would be saving or protecting our children, making sure that they're not put in any kind of precarious situation as such. Now, this has ended up being the worst mass shooting in history since Sandy Hook. Now, we lost 19 lives, 19 children, 2 teachers, which that's escalated into another whole realm of things, guys. That particular teacher passed away. There was one of them, and their husband ended up passing away from a fucking heart attack because he couldn't deal with it. You know what I mean? It's just like the collateral damage that this is going to happen. Like it's going to cause not just physically and emotionally, but psychologically in so many different ways, obviously. And we're going to get into some more of this information. Of course, let's talk about, guys, who was the shooter. So we got this guy or this kid. I don't even want to call him a guy because he's only 18 years old. You know what I mean?
Piece of shit.
Yeah. Salvador Ramos.
Sociopath.
Oh,
pretty confused. I'd say.
Loner. Yeah.
Outcast.
Allegedly, yeah, he was a high school dropout. And this is contrary to what was reported earlier. He had no criminal history, no known mental health history, officials said. He had just turned 18. He legally bought the 2 AR-15 style rifles and ammunition for his birthday. Those that knew him described him as a loner with few, if any, friends, who was often in fights and disagreements with other students at school. So this was obviously a kid who was, obviously maybe not on the right side of things and, saw himself as an outcast and whatever the case may be. But, obviously there was warning signs. Even if the kids said that they saw this at school, I'm sure, hopefully the parents saw this as well, but we'll get into that here in a second as well. So getting more into the shooter, he actually messaged a girl who lived in Germany about his intentions once he purchased these guns. He complained about his grandmother who was on the phone with AT&T about his phone, weirdly enough. And according to the screenshots reviewed by CNN and an interview with the 50-year-old girl, whose mother gave permission for her to be interviewed, said that he said it's annoying that his grandmother was like fiddling with the phone issue and whatever the case may be. But then minutes later, he just texted her. He goes, "I shot my grandmother in the face." And immediately, followed by the message, "I'm going to shoot up an elementary school, RN," meaning like right now. So, there's got to be, I don't know, man. What do you guys feel like? Like, what's your take when something like this is like obviously out there in the open? And obviously this girl is in Germany, so it's like she can't call like US right away and figure out where the fuck he's at. You know what I mean? This and that. I get her side of it, but I'm sure there was some kind of warning signs here before, guys. I mean, this is not something that just popped out of nowhere.
No, and it's unfortunate that the conversation is already being steered to the parties. I'm already hearing stirs about the NRA and Biden saying he's going to get our guns, and everybody's already focused on the wrong part of the story. This is at the very root of our process, our problem as a society. Anybody, any sociopath can wait a while to get guns. Should there be more stringent gun laws? Yes. Should it be harder to get an AR-15? Yes. Should people still have the right to have one? Yes. If they pass all those things and they go through the proper steps, absolutely. But it's more than that. It's not about the guns. At some point along the way, someone pushed this kid through a turnstile just as another number. And all it was a ticking time bomb. If mental health was something that was actually prioritized and was focused on in this country, like, I don't know, buying the newest shoes is, then my guess is this could be avoided. We spend so much time focusing on the wrong parts. Everybody's going to argue about the parties. Everybody's going to argue about guns. Everybody's going to argue about the safety of the children. Someone's going to want to argue. Someone's going to say that teachers should have guns. And they're going to talk about posting up veterans at gateways, which, by the way, I don't think is a bad idea. But no one's going to talk. Everybody's going to talk about Band-Aids. What's the instant solution? And no one's going to talk about the actual problem, the mental health and lack thereof in this country, and how we don't give a shit. Because as long as the machine's moving, everybody's getting their money, and the economy keeps pushing forward. I was listening to a radio show today that were talking about this very topic. And one of the gentlemen on it is also a father. And he was talking about his daughter, who is the age of the kids that got gunned down. And he was crying on air, saying that school is somewhere where you're supposed to feel safe. That's supposed to be a sacred place where even the worst of the worst at least respect schools. Let's not go there. Let's not do that.
You know what, WJ? You know what? Let me tell you something real quick. I told Pete this earlier this week, and I'm not sure if he'll remember it or not, but I did mention it to him. my daughter Layla, she's 7. So she's on YouTube a lot, as most 7-year-olds are, watching the shit that 7-year-olds watch. Brian's toy review, fucking things about Minecraft, blah, 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 mundane shit, things that you don't have to worry about. But I always listen, and I'm always listening to what she's listening to, It was a day or two ago, or actually a day ago. I guess she was watching a video, and I guess maybe a news brief of what happened popped up. I'm not sure. I don't know how she figured it out. I don't know what, but something popped up, and she listened to it, and she came to me and she said, "Dad, I don't want to die."
I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah. And I had to sit there and kind of process that, because it's just like something that you shouldn't think that you would have to explain.
That shouldn't be their concern. Right.
No, that's not something that they should be concerned with. And that's exactly what I told her. I was like, listen, that's not something you need to worry about. I reassured her, obviously, and made her feel better and things of that nature, and explained to her. And it was hard. It was hard hearing her say that, because like you said, Jay, you shouldn't have to think about explaining that to a 7-year-old. A 7-year-old. You know what I'm saying?
That should be a sacred area. That shows just how detached and deranged this human being was, and whatever it was that he was seeking, whatever it was that it was, it doesn't matter. It led up to a point where he walked into an elementary school yelling, "You're all gonna die," as he was shooting them in the face. And he was streaming it. Like, this isn't just bad. This isn't just tragic. This is a turning point. This is a fucking fork in the road for our country. What are we going to do? How are we going to fix this? And not just fix this for, let's make sure that if Tommy wants to get an AR-15, he has to wait 2 weeks to make sure that he passes his mental test, which again, should happen. I'm not mocking it because it shouldn't happen. It should happen. But it's so much deeper than that. How come laws are written in such a way that the common man can't understand it? How come just because I want to have a medical card, I can't own a handgun? I made that choice. I chose that I would prefer to have THC over a 9. But why did I have to make that choice? I could still pass every one of those tests and get a gun, and I'd probably be one of the safest human beings with one. The two aren't interconnected. I don't know why the government has done it. And they've done it for one reason. That way they can control it. They can monetize it, and they can get their hands in it. But how long is it going to take before we finally start demanding? Things need to change. And things need to be where this is supposed to be for the people, by the people, and of the people. And it's not of the people. It's of the 1%.
It's not. And piggybacking on that, Jay, the House actually passed a bill, the HR, I think whatever it was, 18 bill, that's been sitting on these senators' desks for the last year and a half, that they won't vote on it, because they already know that if they vote against it, that it's going to make them look bad. But again, they don't want to lose the favoritism of the gun lobbyists. Exactly. The money. Exactly. Listen, if you guys don't know anything about this, then you need to do some more research about how the government works and how lobbying works and how people get into office works. It's all about fundraising, and it's about schmoozing whoever you can for them to give you money, whether it be big pharma, big tech, NRA, it doesn't matter. It just, each party has their own favorite ones that they go to. And that's how the money is made. And once you guys start realizing that, you guys can start realizing how this government really, really works, and how this whole party thing is just a bunch of bullshit. But Pete, what do you think?
I got a couple of little things. Jay says, you got to look at mental health. Well, you guys just said we can't really count on the government for shit. So I don't know how that's going to work, right? Mental health has to be something that's, I feel like, has to be approached in a certain way to certain people that are feeling that way. And there's therapy, there's counseling, there's a bunch of things, but the problem is, it's how do we get that person and how do we find that person, right? And I feel like that's more or less like parenting, the common signs, what I mean? Of like everybody seeing this, you know what I mean? And actually just speaking up. Because at the end of the day, everybody could just look at it as him just being a teenager and he's going through his things. You see what I mean? So how do you know he's really going through anything to a mental capacity? Obviously, we've seen the pictures of what this man looks like. I don't know if you guys seen it, but I've seen some.
Oh, I'll post it up here. Yeah, you guys will see it right
now. So at the end of the day, you see the shit he was going through. So with that being said, it's like the mental capacity thing is totally. I see where it goes, but that only goes to a certain extent. Now the guns.
Let's start with. I don't know. I actually know you don't know this, Pete, because it's not something I talk about much. I recently, a couple months ago, was going through some major shit with some personal things in my own family, some things that we all have to deal with. It's just one of those things. And I was going to seek help. Now, I have good insurance. I make a decent living. I have every reason why it should have been easy for me to be able to find someone. I couldn't find anybody that could see me because there's not enough. There's not enough people. There's not enough education. It is either you pay completely out of pocket or it's not covered by insurance because it's not under this particular network that gives this particular, and it all comes back to the same thing. Okay. It comes back to money. It shouldn't be that hard. Oh my God, you're feeling like you want to take an AR-15, go shoot some 12-year-olds? Let's talk about that. Let's find somebody, anybody. There should be some way that if you really have something you need to talk about, you need someone, you need a professional, there should be an opportunity to do that. And there's not. There's suicide hotlines, which are great if you just want to take yourself out, but there's got to be something. There's so much more we could do. And just assuming that it's just because, well, maybe he didn't go talk to anybody. Yeah, his parents missed it. Teachers missed it. Counselors missed it. There was a system that was just pushing him along, and it shouldn't have, because he was an individual. He's a piece of shit. But the system also failed.
I see what you're saying. I see where you came from on that side. I definitely understand that. And I totally agree with you on that for sure.
Yeah, because I mean, you're right, Jay.
If they're not fulfilling, they don't have nobody to actually talk to. Then how the fuck is that going to work? Makes sense. Definitely,
they're around people. It's not like they're not around people, right?
Definitely makes sense. And like I said, I feel like, and at the end of the day, I do feel like there should be a standardized, maybe a level 3. I mean, background check on, like you said, like say for instance yourself, you just went and go checked on somebody. Maybe they deemed you crazy as fuck. Who knows? Hey, put him on the blacklist as blase squaze. If he's gonna get a gun in the future, whatever the case may be, he's in the database and they'll test him. If so, you know what I mean? So I definitely agree with you on that. I definitely agree with you on that. On the other hand, like I said, the man killed his grandma. The man was on some, he was just on some other shit, bro. You really don't know. And we could go back to the mental. Jay says they're not going to take the guns away. No, they're not going to take the guns away because that's too much.
No, it's too far gone.
Sure. That's not going to happen. They're just going to go through the rotation again, the revolving door, like they always do. Make a big fuss about it and then sweep it under the rug until it just washes away.
Taking guns away, I don't think is going to solve the problem.
It's not.
It's not going to solve. It's not going to solve the problem.
Oh, you know what? Here, let me tell you real quick. Just to break that up. The guy even said it. He's like, they got strict gun laws in California. They got strict gun laws in New York. He's like, they got strict gun laws in Chicago. But guess what? Chicago has more people getting shot up on the weekend than we do here in the past 10 years. It's true. It's true. The bad guys are going to.
Let me be the devil's advocate, though. At the same time, in Australia, when they had the last mass shooting that they outlaw having guns, and everybody, and they haven't had a mass shooting since.
Bro,
and we're on our how many 22nd of the year?
Yeah, but they're also a bit more removed and can control their borders and their incoming and outgoing cargo. It is harder to get things just because of the general setup. We are surrounded by other countries and borders.
I get what you're saying. Logistically speaking, yes.
To get in. So I don't think trying to get guns off the streets, it was like trying to get marijuana off the streets. It's like Dare. Dare didn't fucking work either. Why would we think if we can't get weed off the streets?
They said it actually reversed the actual process. Like they actually made kids want to do drugs more.
Oh my God.
Can you imagine?
Hey guys, we can prove right now, 1 out of 3 of us, Dare worked. 1 out of 3.
30%. 33 to 3%.
1/3. He's the 1/3.
33 to 3%. That's how effective it is.
And that's if you give Dare 100% of the credit for me not ever doing it until I was 37. I'm just
exactly.
saying. You can't,
because then it's at 0%.
We can't get fucking Dare right? We can't get that right.
Overall score is 0%.
Let's get JG for the spokesperson of Dare.
Yeah.
Come on, let's do it.
Right?
I don't think so. I'm far too honest.
Yeah.
Far too honest.
This shit's great.
But my point. We spent all that time chasing around marijuana for what? For
no, I get what you're saying though.
It would be the same with guns. It would be the same. Instead of telling the kids no, they can't go dancing, why don't you show them some moves? Why don't we institute mandatory gun safety? You know why? Oh, because people would monetize it, they would make money off of it, and that solely is a product. Instead of saying this is for you, this is for safety, this is for the health and safety of our community, for our society, for our fucking race, for our human race.
It's an amendment, Jay. Doesn't matter. Okay, that's what they live by. That's what they live by.
Exactly.
They live and die by rules. Hey, they live and die by rules that were made in the 1920s. Okay.
Exactly.
Okay, the 1920s.
Yeah.
I don't even know what the fuck is going on now.
It's 100 years ago, bro.
What the fuck?
No, agreed. And honestly, the Second Amendment's not a bad amendment. It's not a bad thing to have. It should be okay to have.
I'm not saying
it should be okay to have weapons. But let's be real. That was originally.
There's no need for a guy to have 68 magazines.
Well, no. It's not even that. If you want to have 68 magazines, have 68 magazines. No. Hear me. Hey, hi. Conversate. Hear me.
Go ahead.
So my point. He can have as many magazines as he fucking wants, as long as he's not doing it under the guise of to protect myself against the government. Because if the government wants you out of your home, they're going to drive you down with a fucking tank.
But that's always the default reason they always buy that shit in the first place.
My point. It's not about the armor. It's not about the armament. It's not about the amount of ammunition. It's about the intent and why you keep. Why would you keep those kinds of weapons? Do you like to have it as a hobby? Great. Have it as a fucking hobby. But then let's make sure that we're going through those proper steps. We're learning safety. We're teaching our kids young, and everybody is welcome and open to that information, not just a handful of those people in which we picked out that fit our particular demographic.
But it's designed that way, though, Jay. The NRA has been designed that way. You know what I mean?
I know.
It's been designed that way.
That's my point. Why is it designed that way? Why is it so fucking stupid? And why haven't we asked why?
El Dinero.
100%. So this should be that moment. This is that crux in time. What do we do? Do we allow it?
Let's go. You know what? Let's deviate from this conversation here for a second, and let's go through the timeline. How about that? Sure. Of what happened?
Yeah,
so that way we could break this motherfucker down. I have this shit broken down by the minute. All right. Let's do this timeline. 11 a.m. Tuesday. In a series of private Facebook messages, the shooter, identified as Salvador Ramos, 18 years old, announces his deadly intentions. And the first post, he says, "I'm going to shoot my grandmother." And then the second post was, "I shot my grandmother." And at that point, he had shot his grandmother, 66-year-old Cecilia Gonzalez, in the face in Diaz Street home where he lived before he fled. At 11:15 a.m., he sends another message on Facebook declaring, "I'm going to shoot an elementary school." This is 11:15 a.m. on Tuesday. At 11:27 a.m., McCraw said video evidence showed the exterior door at the school had been propped open by a teacher. So we'll get into how he entered the school in a little bit. So I'm going to forward just to let you guys mental footnote. 11:28 a.m., Ramos crashes his vehicle into a ditch. Two men from a nearby funeral home hear the crash and go toward the scene. As they arrive, they see a man with a gun exit the vehicle with a backpack, and they begin running, and the gunman begins firing at them but does not strike them, McCraw said, and both men return to the funeral home. So at the same time, the teacher moves from a teacher rooms from room 132 to retrieve a phone call, and said the same teacher walks back into the exit door and she basically propped the door open. So this is how he got into the whole school. She had a phone call. She propped the door open to go outside to her car real quick to come back in. That's how he entered the school. It was just like almost weirdly perfect timing. So he was able to capitalize in the situation where a teacher propped the door open with some type of object to keep the door open. At 11:30, operators receive a 911 phone call about a vehicle crash with a man with a gun. 11:31 a.m., gunman reaches the last row of the vehicles to the school's parking lot and fires shots at the school while the patrol vehicles go into the funeral home, McCraw said. So contradictory to early reports, there was no officer in the Uvalde Consolidated Independent School District who confronted the subject at this time. So just to clarify, first they said that there was a school like cop there that exchanged fire. That never happened. So I don't know how does that happen? First off, how does some piece of information like that get completely flipped around?
You have
that's got to be some bad reporting, or either bad reporting or something. I don't know what's going on there.
Or was hearsay that someone heard someone say that they thought that was what happened, or something along those lines. And with the speed that information runs these days, it's very easy to take one little misthread and have it run into its own stream.
Yeah. Well, there was actually no school cop at that time. But however, an officer heard the 911 call that was not very far from the school and drove to the area. In doing so, he drove right by the suspect who was hunkered down behind a vehicle, and he began shooting at the school. At 11:32 a.m., the shooter fires multiple shots outside the school, then leaves the surveillance cameras views from the outside. 11:33 a.m., the gunman enters the school and begins shooting into room 111 or room 112. They haven't particularly got that down yet. Noting that it was not possible to determine which room from the angle of the video. The two rooms were adjoined. So he shot more than 100 rounds based on the audio evidence at that time. That was at 11:33. So we pause there for a second. Think it's necessary to have over 100 rounds of ammo there, Jay? I mean, is that something that should be given out to just anybody?
I don't think the 100 rounds of ammunition, William, is the problem, though.
I'm not saying it's the problem. That's not what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is that something that should be allowed? I'm just asking.
I don't see why anybody who is mentally capable shouldn't be allotted an opportunity to have that, if in fact that's what they have it for whatever the reason is. People use that amount of ammunition if they go out on major hunts, or there are reasons to have it.
That's actually not true. That's not true. You can't hunt with that kind of enemy.
But even with that, William,
yeah.
When you start limiting freedoms, that's when things start becoming slippery slopes. Unfortunately,
I get that.
There should be no gray area here.
Yeah.
If we are already a country where guns are in a multitude of people's hands, the toothpaste is out of that tube. So what we need to do is we need to understand that. We need to, unfortunately, prepare for it. We need to allow it to be free knowledge for anybody who wants to. Everybody should be encouraged to. Everybody should want to learn about guns and gun safety. Yes, there should be certain limitations on how much you can buy, but let's even say you're allowed to buy 25 bullets per month, just for simple math's sake. How long is it going to take him to get 100 bullets? 4 months? He just doesn't go shoot in the range for a few months. So you can't limit it. You can't limit
if he even does do that. You know what I'm saying?
My point, right? It's not. You know? It's not about.
But then at the same time, it gives more time for him to actually think about doing what he's going to do too. You know what I'm saying?
So it could have been worse.
Could have been.
You know,
I don't know how it could have been worse. Let me make sure that's fucking clear. I don't know how it could have been worse. But the point still stands. It's not about necessarily a certain weight limitations about amounts or how long it takes. There should be a long process to get approved to buy guns. And at that point, yeah, there should be certain allotments. Why do you want a gun? Why go skeet shooting? I do this, I do that. There are ways you could certainly classify it that would make a ton of sense. And you could have any gun lover be part of the board to talk about it. But the problem is that we're not going to talk about it. We're going to find a way. We're going to say we're going to put armed guards at doors, and that's what it's going to be.
But this is what I'm saying, right? Like, you have these guys out here, anyways, that are military, ex-military, bro, that got permits for shit that'll blow the fucking doors off your house.
Fuck a door. How about the fucking side of your house?
But this is my whole point, right? But check this out, though. Half of these dudes have PTSD, right? So how are they able to get these guns and get these permits, but still,
because there's no mental check behind anything.
But that goes back to like Jay's kind of point where I can kind of see it. Like, you know what I mean? It's like, it doesn't matter whose hands it's in. There's always going to be somebody out there bad that's going to do something with bad shit.
Of course.
You know what I'm saying?
Of course.
So
of course.
even with Jay's point, when you're saying you have 100 rounds, the guy has 100 rounds, bro. I mean, dude.
Yeah, but it's becoming a lot more. It's becoming a lot more frequent, though.
Bro, let me just tell you, if you go to the gun show, bro, you'll have every homeboy from fucking Riviera, dog, dreaded up and fucking grilled up.
Oh, I know.
Going out there, we're getting as much ammo as they want. You know what I mean? But again, they're not out there. Again, I don't think it's about the guns. At this point, the guns are going to stay. The guns are going to stay regardless of anything. The ammo, they try to make a restriction on the ammo by making it of scarcity, and they're trying to make some money off of that. They're overcharging for the fucking ammo now, and people are still buying it by the buttloads. You know what I mean? So,
this kid was able to get 70 magazines full. So
you know what I mean? So
right.
At the end of the day, it's like to the point where no matter what, somebody's gonna fuck it up for somebody, but it's not gonna happen here. So my thing is like, how are we gonna fix this? It's not about the government. It's not about the guns. It's what are we gonna do with our fucking kids? You see what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, like you said, the school was this. Like Jay says,
I don't think that matters, honestly, because you know what's going to do? They're going to move it from the schools. It's going to be just offices now. They're just going to move to something else where there's more people. These people don't give a fuck. They don't. It doesn't matter who they're killing. It just matters that they're killing people. Right, so you know what I mean. At the end of the day, so if you remove that for the children, that's great. Yes, listen, protect our children, but it's just going to move it to something else, and it's just.
Let me just say something real quick. Let's just say something real quick. I work on playgrounds. I've worked on playgrounds for years, right? You know that. I have literally walked into a Miami-Dade school on many occasions,
finding shells, right?
Dog, literally walking through the hallways during school peak hours, bro, and not one person asked me nothing except for the person up front. I've literally pulled into the side of the school, talk to the guard that was guarding the gate. Let them, hey, listen, where's the front office that I'm here to fix the playground? Oh, just park right there. Go on in. It's over there to the right.
That's how easy it is. Yeah.
Oh, I've got a story, Pete, that happened 2 months ago to my own son. So I work with kids. I think everybody knows. Right. So I'm also always in and out of schools. I'm always on playgrounds. There was this one nice private school that I was working with, and they utilize a public baseball field next door to them. So I was running a soccer class. There was another soccer company doing another soccer class. And all of a sudden I realized that there's these cop cars, and my son had gone to the bathroom, has come back. He was telling me about this weird kid. Well, it turns out this weird kid had hidden the girl's stall after my son had gone to the bathroom. Mom walks her daughter in to go to the bathroom. Kid jumps out with a knife and threatens with a knife. Now, at that point, the mom, child leave, call the cops. Kid stays in there. Cops get him, arrest him. He's on the spectrum. He's alone all the time because the dad is a single dad and works all the time. Happens to live in the apartments and knows that there's always children going in and out. It's not about a gun. It's not about it's not about how much they can amass. It's not about getting weapons in general. It's about understanding the mental health of our country. It's about actually giving a shit about the people next to us and having empathy. It's about the people at the top starting to actually fucking give a shit. It's us at the bottom starting to talk about giving a shit, so we can get them to give a shit, so we can make the changes. Because if we don't do it now, we're not ever gonna. If we don't use this as our,
I get what you're saying there, Jay. Absolutely. But I still think there needs to be something to be done about. No. I still think there needs to be something done about making this more restrictive. And just like you did, I mean, I'm not saying nothing different than what you said earlier. It needs to be restricted. I mean, something needs to happen. 100%. I mean, listen, if you could buy that kind of gun, if you could buy that kind of gun in Texas at 18, you can't even buy a fucking alcoholic drink.
Well, it's not even that.
I mean, really?
It's not even that. We talked about this before, but we remember. Right. We are allowed to buy any. It's in that gray area where it's a rifle. So anybody over 18,
it's all about classification, rifle.
Right? You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, that's where they that's where they keep it. NRA, anybody, it's an assault rifle. That's the little umbrella.
That bill you were talking about, Will, that's been sitting down there. 90% of Americans agree on
that bill passed.
90%.
Sure.
I know.
90%.
I know, so and they won't do shit about it.
It's not even the people that own the guns. That's the thing. It's not even the people that own the guns. 90% of us agree that guns should be regulated better. It should not be that easy to get
Absolutely.
a gun. Absolutely. It comes back.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It should be a political issue. That's why it is a political issue, because it's been sitting there and nobody's been doing anything about it. The House passed it. It's not like saying that we didn't. It's not like saying that we didn't speak and then the House didn't do anything about it. They did it. Now it's time for the fucking.
It's stuff that it should not be so convoluted. Our government spends so much time being so fucking secretive and hiding things, and this is always the result. And they're doing it for a reason, because if
are they really hiding it?
They're not hiding it.
That's the thing.
It's out in the open now.
It is. It's already like you say. Hey, you remember the toothpaste is out the tube. Like my boy.
Yeah, you said it earlier, Jay. I like that. You said it earlier.
I like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
How long has it been like this, though?
Forever, bro. It's been out there. It's just now, since we have cameras and shit, it's out there.
Here's the thing.
Yeah, we have social media. We have people who talk about this shit like us.
Metal Gear Solid called it out. It is a battle of information, and that is what it's all about. It is about who's controlling the amount of information. Even just like we were talking about. There's a discussion. There was a cop that engaged him at first. There was no cop that engaged him first. It's misinformation. It's miscommunication. It's misunderstanding. And it's all of us just running around saying what we think is right, not fucking knowing.
And this is how bad it is, man. Because the governor of Texas, I was actually listening to him earlier. You know what he says? They're like, how can we stop an 18-year-old from buying this type of weapon, right? You know what he says? He's like, well, ma'am, We've had laws that have protected our amendment for the past 60 years here in Texas. It's just not going to go overnight.
That should have been a light bulb moment.
That's it right there.
That's it right there.
Exactly.
Everybody was like
100%. Pete, 100%.
You can't turn the Titanic in 1 second.
Right. But it follows what Jay was saying. They do it in it's propagandish. You see what I mean? Like
propagandized. Yeah, you're absolutely right.
It's propaganda, and it's like literally thrown at you, bro, just so that way you can hear something, and it's like, what the fuck does that mean? What the fuck does that mean?
And that's the point. Why is it so convoluted?
Right.
Why are we just now why as a society haven't we asked these questions? Why are all of our laws written in fucking Latin? How many of us actually speak fucking Latin? Why? I get it. It needs to be comprehensive. Abso-fucking-lutely. But it can still be commonplace understanding. It can still be where anybody can really make sure that they know what's happening, and not just, well, these couple people know certain rules and we need to get around it. And, those guys, they know because they've got all the money. And that's what it's all about. And it's not about the people that it should be. And that's exactly, if we would just not be assholes to each other. But it's too much fucking ass.
So let me ask you guys this. How do we protect our own kids? That's basically where because we can't, the government isn't going to do anything. Okay.
We can't.
And all I'm going to say, and this is all I'm going to say, because right now, I had a buddy of mine and he was like, they need to protect their kids. And you know what he does? He puts up a picture of a prison and was like, hey, we protect these guys with all this barbed wire and shit, but yet we just have like a chain link fence, right? I see what he was getting at, but bro, you cannot do that.
You don't send your
yeah.
kids to school in a prison.
Exactly. That's exactly what I'm telling him. And I'm like, the way you got to protect your kids. You remember I said on the last podcast, you remember I said these kids nowadays, like I said, you said school was sacred. That was a place of safety. You know what I mean? Like you were.
It's not that anymore.
It's not like that anymore, man. We have to kind of domestic terrorism is our own people that's doing it to us.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So with that being said, how do you protect our own kids? How do we do that? You know what I mean?
I'm going to send my daughter to ballet, but she's also going to go to MMA class and learn Brazilian jiu-jitsu just in case.
Well, I mean, again, but that's what I mean. Mental preparedness. That's what we gotta start teaching our kid.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Be mindful, be tactful.
Listen,
yeah,
I had
man.
my son, my 16-year-old, who's fucking damn near 5'9" and is more than capable of handling himself. I had a conversation with him after it happened. I had a little talk because he had a couple more days of school, and I was just waiting for something to happen somewhere else. We were having exit strategy talks. We were talking about, sounds that you think
always having a plan.
Far enough
Always
away.
have a plan.
Always
have a plan.
Head on a swivel.
Always have a plan.
What's going on. Just pay attention to your surroundings and be prepared so you can make a good decision for safety. And God bless him. The kid already does. He already knows about keeping his head on a swivel. He's pretty on the ball. But Pete's right. It starts in the home. We have to make sure that we don't allow our kids to go into things with their and
listen, this kid, by all accounts, had a tumultuous relationship with his mother, tumultuous relationship with his father. He was living with his grandparents. He was obviously hating where he was. You know what I mean?
Obviously.
But at the same time, there was nobody supporting him either. So, supporting him to the point, he has a roof over his head and he has clothes on his back and all that stuff, but really mentally supporting. Listen, at the end of the day, grandparents can only do so much. It's hard for them to kind of like, you know what I mean, mentally fucking click with a kid that's fucking 2 generations before them. You know what I mean? So
shit.
Yeah, that is crazy as fuck, and they don't give a fuck about anything. You know what I mean?
Let me just put it like this. Let's put it like this. If I showed up to Abuela's house in a fucking skirt and stockings, there's no way she's gonna relate to me, bro.
No.
So I could only imagine what this little old lady was going through. And again, her parents and the dad.
Grandma Galosi would have beat my ass.
Facts.
Yeah. Right.
Facts. Abuela would have been like, get the fuck out of here. The fuck are you doing?
I don't have a grandson. I don't have a granddaughter. I have a grandson. Get the fuck out. You would have said some shit like that. No, for real. No, but listen, at the end of the day, that obviously that's a more antiquated, state of mind. But at the same time, you can understand what they're saying. You understand where they're coming from, and you understand the where the lesson is. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, you know what I'm saying? And we gotta be more mindful. We gotta be more tactful. We gotta teach our children to be more, attentive. The problem is everybody, what everybody's doing? They're doing this right here. They're like, oh. You know how many people I've almost ran into in my car in the last 5 years because people are just walking around just like this? You know what I mean? I'm hitting the horn, you know what I mean? Because they're not even fucking paying attention. You know what I mean? I've seen it a million times. People just are not even like looking around them half the time, and they're just sitting victims. It's just horrible.
You're talking about a race. You're talking about a race who not half of them, obviously the number is great, but a portion of them walk themselves off cliffs while trying to catch Pokemon on those things.
That's how we are as human beings. Isn't that crazy? You think that we would be evolved enough to be, you know what I mean? And it's like, it's almost like a regression.
I'm on this cliff. Hi.
We're
danger.
We're a basic species, That's all right.
Jay's 3 feet from a fucking from a Pokemon right now.
A Charmander.
Floor, okay.
Fucking shit. God, but no, man. It's so true. What do we do? It's such a.
What do we do?
Man, 2 generations ago, they never would have even fathomed something like this, obviously. You know what I mean?
So let me hold on. So you know what? So hold on. Let me bring something up too. I don't know if there was a video that
go ahead, Pete.
There was a video that surfaced maybe a couple of 2 or 3 weeks ago. There was a bunch of kids showing, opened up their backpack, bro. Had nothing but pistols. Did you see
Right.
this? I don't know. Did you? I don't know if you.
No,
seen
I
this,
haven't
bro.
seen this video. No, this is new to me.
Like, so basically, they were all like, "Oh yeah, you're not gonna catch us slipping." Blah blah blah. Bro, literally, these kids were all in like 8th, 9th grade.
And they're not going to catch us slipping, but they're putting all their fucking shit on Facebook.
Hold on, but this is right. So this is what I'm saying. So this goes to Jay's point, but this could also go in another way. How about if that shooter would have went into that school with those kids with those guns?
I don't think those kids would have done anything.
You don't think they would have done anything?
Nope.
No?
Nope.
But but again, and I think we're even focusing on the wrong parts. Okay. How many gangbangers go in and shoot up schools?
None really. That's another thing when I was trying.
They shoot up one or two people, but it's kind of the person they were after in the first place, right?
They have better aim.
They were taught better.
But no, but God's honest truth. Let's be real. You don't often hear about gang violence, getting into schools. We grew up in one of the most violent gang times there was. And I do remember a girl in 7th grade being shot with an ice pick. But holy fuck, that was crazy.
Yeah.
Look at where
Congress
we're at
Middle.
today.
Yeah.
Look at where we're at
Shout
today.
out to Congress Middle School.
Oh, Congress.
Motherfuckers.
Carver, baby. Carver. Carver. You guys had the boy inside.
Yeah, we had those color wars over there, boy.
Oh man.
It was bad.
Oh my God.
Even that, right?
Yeah.
Even that was bad.
Yeah.
But
It was bad.
we still felt. I went to school the next day. Shit wasn't gonna happen to me like that.
No.
But
You had eyes in the back of your fucking head, but you went to school.
So did
Right?
you hold on?
And
This
I
is
felt
something
safe.
else too.
What, Pete? Let me hear.
So did you hear about how they come? Do you have any more facts or anything that you want to bring up?
I have plenty of stuff. What do you have?
Because I heard that I got something here that says the commander made a wrong decision not to breach the classroom sooner.
That is something that is correct. I actually have information on that. That actually came out today.
Right.
Pete, thank you for bringing that up. But yeah, the actual chief of police or the chief that was the commander who basically called the shots. They actually sat out there for like 90 minutes before they breached, and there was kids that were calling 911, man, and they were wondering why nobody was fucking coming in, man. And that's fucking sad. I mean, imagine calling 911 and you being in a situation like that, and you being a kid, and that you can't even get a response as to why the police haven't come in. Not to mention, there was another girl who they interviewed on CNN who said that she had to fucking put blood on her.
Mm-hmm.
And put a blanket over her to make her look like this. She was dead. So that way she wouldn't, get shot. And that she was so traumatized that when they were doing the interview, the fucking cell phone went off and she fucking jumped. Just like she fucking flipped out because the sound, any kind of sound was just like that,
You see that?
And that's fucking sad, man. You know what I mean? That's sad. That's another thing. How this is going to affect mentally, these people that are involved. We talked about one of the teacher's husbands who ended up losing his life because he died of a heart attack. He couldn't deal with it, and that's tough.
Had a heartbreak.
Yeah,
Had a
fucking.
heartbreak.
That was his high school sweetheart. They were married for 24 years. That was the woman that he knew and he loved, all his life, and gone. And of course he dies.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because he just can't deal with it. So then you got these survivors of this whole thing too. That's the whole nother dynamic of this here, Jay and Pete, who has Sandy Hook. We have this one, and then you have these survivors of all this stuff. How is that going to affect them in the future? You know what I mean? How is that going to traumatic?
It's traumatic.
Traumatic.
They're not going to get over that, especially at that age.
No. I mean,
They're never.
if for my accounts, I think they closed down Sandy Hook. I think they bulldozed the building and everything. I mean, I don't think there's anything left of it. Yeah, no, because I don't think they could even open it back up. That was, they just decided to say no.
Wow.
They're just going to demolish it.
I didn't know
that. Yeah. And I think that's the same thing that needs to be done here too, because there's nothing. I mean, how are you going to have something like that after that?
No.
You know what I mean? It's just too much.
No,
that
needs to just be a memorial site.
Yeah. And listen, there was also a lot of outcry from a lot of the community out as well. Not just, just people like you and I, but famous people. I don't know if you guys heard Steve Kerr.
Mm-hmm.
Steve Kerr had an emotional play.
Yeah, he broke down.
He fucking broke. I actually want to fucking play the audio on this shit because that shit was ridiculous. Give me 1 second here. I want to fucking play this shit here real quick. But yeah. Steve Kerr. I mean, we all know him as being the basketball player off the very famous Bulls 90s team. And of course, transitioned over to being a coach for Golden State. I mean, is that correct, Pete? Am I right?
Yep. Yes, sir.
Yep. You are more of a basketball guy than I am. They're in the playoffs right now. And they're, of course, it's just, it's hard, man. It's hard. And I'm going to play this clip here. And I want to see what you guys say about this.
I'm not going to talk about basketball. Nothing's happened with our team in the last 6 hours. We're going to start the same way tonight. Any basketball questions don't matter. Since we left shoot-around, 14 children were killed 400 miles from here, and a teacher. And in the last 10 days, we've had elderly black people killed in a supermarket in Buffalo. We've had Asian churchgoers killed in Southern California, and now we have children murdered at school. When are we going to do something? I'm tired. I'm so tired of getting up here and offering condolences to the devastated families that are out there. I'm so tired of I'm tired of the moments of silence. Enough. There's 50 senators right now who refuse to vote on H.R. 8, which is a background check rule that the House passed a couple of years ago. It's been sitting there for 2 years. And there's a reason they won't vote on it, to hold on to power. So I ask you, Mitch McConnell, I ask all of you senators who refuse to do anything about the violence and school shootings and supermarket shootings, I ask you, are you going to put your own desire for power ahead of the lives of our children and our elderly and our churchgoers? Because that's what it looks like. It's what we do every week. So I'm fed up. I've had enough. We're going to play the game tonight, but I want every person here, every person listening to this to think about your own child or grandchild or mother or father or sister, brother. How would you feel if this happened to you today? We can't get numb to this. We can't sit here and just read about it and go, well, let's have a moment of silence. Yeah, go Dubs, Come on, Mavs, let's go. That's what we're going to do. We're going to go play a basketball game. And 50 senators in Washington are going to hold us hostage. Do you realize that 90% of Americans, regardless of political party, want background check, universal background check? 90% of us, we are being held hostage by 50 senators in Washington who refuse to even put it to a vote, despite what we, the American people, want. They won't vote on it because they want to hold on to their own power. It's pathetic. I've had enough.
There you go, guys. What else needs to be said besides that, right?
He's name dropping no Mitch McConnell. So
I know, right?
Bitch
Bones,
ass.
huh? Let's put a picture of Bones up right now. Bones, Mitch McConnell. You ever seen a picture of that guy? That guy looks scary as fuck, bro. Yeah, no, he looks sunken in. He looks like fucking. Anyways, but yeah, no, I mean, Steve Kerr really hit the nail on the head on that one, man. I mean, what do you guys think on that? I mean,
you know what? Something he said about he's tired of taking moments of silence. He is absolutely right. We have been silent for far too fucking long.
Yeah,
we need to not have moments of silence. We need to speak. We need to let people know. We need to let everyone know. We need to actually come together as a group. I think we can all agree on this one thing. Doesn't matter if you're left. It doesn't matter if you're right. It doesn't matter if you're black or white or yellow, tall, short, poor, rich. I think we can all agree that our children deserve to be safe in fucking schools. I don't think it's that big a deal.
It's all right. You know how we're gonna do this? I'm sending London to the house. I'm sending London to the school with a 40 Glock. All right.
There you go.
We're gonna handle this. All right, baby girl. If you're coming out alive, take him with you. That's all I'm saying.
That's too much for her. You gotta give her like a. You gotta give her like a.
I'll take that back.
Saturday Night Special, something like that.
I'll take that. All right.
40?
No,
God damn, bro.
Yeah, they're 40 gonna blow the whole shoulder.
You're gonna blow a hole through the guy, to the window, through the wall, through the fucking car that's in the fucking parking lot.
Fucking Jay.
To the neighbor's house. Jesus Christ.
Jay's like, what the fuck? We just shot this whole thing in hell just now because of that.
Yeah. I know. I was crying and everything.
We did that. I know.
No, man.
You're right, bro. You're absolutely right, though, Jay.
Yeah,
I agree totally, man. And like I said, it's the perspective that you came with when you were saying about the about
this is a deep one for me, man. I mean, I've worked with kids for 23
years. It's a deep one for everybody. It's a deep one for all of us. We're all parents.
I know, but William, we're all yes, you are right. We're all parents. It is deep for all of us. But it is when you work in that environment.
Yeah, no, it's different for you. I get it. Yeah.
It's just a little bit, and it's because I work with kids. It has nothing to do with being in school with a school shooter. Know which way I'm going. You know which way I'm going.
Straight to the
Without
shooter.
fucking hesitation. You know which way I'm going.
Right.
But I'm only in one school every now and then from time to time. I only, every school should be fucking safe. And that's it. Just so, yeah, when the whole thing happened, you messaged us. I thought about how the beginning of the episode would go, or how that last episode we did went. We were somber in the parts where we were somber, we were serious in the parts where we need to be serious. And not that we haven't had a laugh or two tonight, but it definitely need to have a different tone. And for posterity, it's only been a week. So when you guys listen to this episode, or if it comes out as a special 2-part, or however it comes out, and however you listen,
it's all going to come out as one big ass episode. Yeah.
Beginning to end, and that way you will hear a noticeable difference in just 1 week.
Yeah,
just 1 week.
Mm-hmm.
1 week, and
hold on. Did this guy? I think this guy had a felony too. Did he?
No, actually, that was reported as he had a felony. But see, that's what I'm saying, Pete. They said so many things, bro. So many things that were said at the beginning that was not true. You didn't know what to believe at the beginning. That's why I was like, give it a day or two to breathe. That's why I always give things a few days to breathe, because you hear things from the beginning and then end up being completely the opposite. It's just because that's just the way it is. Especially with the
school. So let's ask this: what can a school do to prevent this?
What can a school do? Let's ask that. I mean, does it need to be down to the school?
Do? Like, what
I
can
don't
we
know.
do? They had surveillance cameras, right? They said
they had surveillance cameras. They had key car entries. Unfortunately, that teacher left that fucking door open. So I'm sure she's fucking feeling guilty as fuck.
This is my next thing. He crashes a car into a ditch.
Right.
I don't know. So what? Did he jump the fence? Did he go through a fence?
He went through an area with that where he could get through
with no fence.
No fence, right?
So okay,
because there was a ditch there.
Because at the end of the day, Atlantic had a fence, Carver had a fence, Congress had a motherfucking damn near had a good fence.
And how many people did stop from coming in or going out?
Right. Okay.
None
that's just the stuff for truancy. We will get locked down in our school at Atlantic. And Mr. Maloney will chase our ass all over the place before, you know what I mean? Right.
On that golf cart.
Exactly. All day. But my whole point is like, again, I feel like we're in a situation again, like people think that the school is a safe place. We need to start educating these teachers, bro, about what we say, keeping your head on a fucking swivel. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, if shots were fucking fired, bro, at 2 fucking guys running at a fucking funeral home, and you got a school 200 yards down the way, what the?
I know which way I'm going.
You know what I mean?
I know which way I'm going.
It's just my thing is like, who in that whole if the lady was outside, anybody was outside, anybody at that school would have. I just heard shots. Whether you're outside in rec, if there's a janitor, bro, there was a school fucking shooting less than a fucking 100 yards away from me. Nobody heard those shots, and nobody went to fucking lockdown mode with surveillance cameras.
Not only that, a teacher went out and left the door open.
That's my whole point. So you know what I mean? It's like, what?
Well, yeah, we need to tighten up around schools. I mean, trust me, I run into schools where you have security guards at the front, but and again, let's be 100% real. Let's be 100% real. Let's say there was a guard there. Let's say that woman didn't leave that door open. Let's say that those things did not happen. This guy was walking up to a theoretically locked down school with 2 AR-15s without proper training, proper notice, proper protection. Even if there was a guard there, that guard is dead.
Not necessarily. Not necessarily.
Going to get through that door.
Listen, if you get one of those guys who've been in Desert Storm or Desert whatever,
that contractors, military contractors.
No, I'm not even saying contractor. No. A guy that knows what he's doing behind a gun.
100%.
Like, you know who our 100%. Mutual friend Jay that lives in a certain place down south.
Yeah.
Yes. A guy like that was in the school. Yeah, we don't have to say no names.
Hey.
But
double tap.
A guy like that in a school, could you imagine? I would feel safe with a guy like that in a school.
Me too.
Listen. If when all hell breaks loose, I'm going to be sleeping at the end of his bed every night. That's what we're talking about.
Exactly. No, but you know what I'm saying. You understand what I'm saying. There's something that could be done about all this.
But this is what I'm saying. Most schools I go to, even if they have a security guard, he is not that.
Well,
and
we all know. Listen, we all know how Palm Beach County school system or anything down here in Florida, how bad they are. It's corrupt down here. We all know how it is. So it's not like up north or like New England where they actually take care of the kids.
They put that 17-year-old retired fucking resource officer.
Yeah. What the fuck is that?
The fuck?
Give me the guy that's been in Desert Storm, that's gone through Iraq and Afghanistan a couple times and know what an IED is. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
I agree with that. Put somebody up front. I just seen a post. They had
give me somebody who's medically discharged.
Yeah.
Who's looking for a job.
Exactly.
Yeah. Give me somebody
that knows what they're doing behind a gun.
Give me somebody who's looking for something, who would give a shit, has the training, and is necessary. Listen, there's a need here, and it shouldn't be that hard to get it filled.
No, especially when there's resources right under our noses. Using the people.
Where those resources are going now?
Oh, they're going
to Ukraine.
Ukraine, baby. That's a whole other episode.
Okay, that's where those resources are going. Okay.
They're using witchcraft in Ukraine against the Russians.
Are they? Is it working?
Whatever it takes, man.
I don't know if it's working. I mean, you're gonna have to ask
hold on. You ready for this? Let me just
look it up on our website, darkfringeradio.com. Ukraine is using witches against Russians. Yes, check it out. It's on the podcast. It's on the episode. The website.
Hey, remember when we were talking about something the last episode?
Oh yeah, the mobile meth bands.
No. Besides that, they've been on a roll lately. By the way, so Texas rap seemingly blames rap music and video games for recent.
Oh, come on. Come on.
We were just talking about this last time. Remember? You're like, did this be video games? No. This cannot be right. No, rap. Buddy doesn't even look like he listens to rap. Okay. I mean,
that kid looks like he listens to fucking soft rock
from
the 80s. I don't know, man.
I don't know.
He listens to dubstep and watches anime.
There you go.
Anime and fucking dubstep, bro. That's that guy all day.
Mm-hmm.
Dubstep sucks.
Okay? Acid dubstep. You gotta throw the acid in the front of it, bro.
Sure.
ADS, bro. ADS.
Oh shit. Oh my god. Yeah, guys. I mean, this again. It's tough. It's tough.
It's tough.
It's tough. It's a lot. It's a lot for a parent to deal with. It's a lot for guys like us to deal with. We're in our early 40s, late 30s for Pete. You know what I mean? It's we all got kids. It's like we didn't have to worry about this when we were kids. You know what I mean?
Sure didn't.
The worst we had to worry about was, we're gonna get into a fight at the bus stop.
So what's the difference?
I never worried about that.
So let's talk about this then. So what's the difference between when we were doing it and people not shooting up the schools to today? What would be the major influence from then and now?
You know what the difference was?
That?
You know what the difference was? I think it was harder to get a gun back then than it is now.
No.
You don't think so? No? So what's the difference then? Tell me then.
I think it's the resources. Everything's at the hand. Everything is at your fingertips. Things that you see. Everything that you like I said, everything has a subconsciously.
Yeah.
But,
Three reasons. Parents are more detached today than they were because they have more things to be detached with, i.e. phones, tablets, so on and so forth. It's easier to not have that connection. 1. 2, too many parents are not willing to tell their kids, shut the fuck up. You're an asshole. Go away. All too often, there are so many opportunities where kids, because they are, for whatever reason, they not big fans of structure. Oh shit, that's right, they're kids. They need to be taught structure. If they're not taught structure, they'll never learn structure. Not every butterfly is just a beautiful butterfly that we need to follow for all of its magic. Sometimes we need to understand exactly why that butterfly flies the way it flies. There are real questions that these kids need answered, and we can't just answer it with a flute and a smile, okay? And then number 3, and possibly most importantly, we need to not be assholes. Back in the day, even though our parents were, as we were talking about just at the beginning, racist, things that were racist back in the 80s were racist, terribly racist, unbelievably racist, unabashedly racist. And not as many people were offended. Or if they were offended, they didn't speak about it. Or when they spoke about it, it was just dealt with in a different manner. Now everybody's circling their wagons. Nobody wants to hear anybody. Everybody knows everything. And no one is open-minded. That is our problem.
Maybe.
Depends.
That might be it.
It depends.
What do you think, Pete?
Because back in the day, right? You say detached with phones and shit like that. You're right. I can see that. I can see that now. That shit doesn't happen anymore. You're absolutely right. You know what I mean? But back in the day, parents were detached more or less by survival and trying to be a parent because they didn't really have nothing to detach with. You see what I'm saying? So like, if they weren't being a parent, like you were saying, no structure, we didn't have that. So back in the day, I feel like that was more prevalent since there was nothing really like the iPhones, the iPads. There wasn't none of that. Everybody was outside getting into fucking trouble. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I feel like you were saying, I saw. So when you're saying, so I see what you're saying. But like, it's to a certain extent. To a certain extent. I do see what you're saying though, for sure, because at the end of the day, these kids nowadays, kids run shit. Kids run everything.
Yeah, because parents should be allowed to discipline their children. Okay. And I don't mean make them go get a switch, whoop them till they bleed. But a kid who is getting mouthy, getting a quick one, sometimes that's what it takes. I have 2 wonderful, beautiful, awesome children. I love them to death. When they got mouthy, they got a hand to the butt. Not a crazy one. They didn't get.
You gotta throttle them up sometimes.
Okay. But why? I can tell you why all 3 of us, we all got in trouble. We all got in the same trouble. We all got in the same trouble together. Hey guys, we grew up together. We did stupid shit. We were dumb. We did dumb hoodlum shit because we were done hoodlums. That's what we was. But we knew we only had limitations because if we had to go home and our parents, our mothers, our abuelas.
Yeah, that's the shit that we had to face.
You see how that thing? First fight
that's stiff. That's stiff.
First,
knocked the soul out of you.
First fight I got into. First fight I got into.
You're right.
You make you see your past life and your future life.
Yeah, man. Slap you sideways.
Yeah.
First fight I got into. They called my dad. My dad made me call my grandmother because it was about her. The reason why I got in a fight is because this guy said something nasty about my grandmother. I had no idea. He said she lived in the garbage can. He had no idea that she was in a wheelchair. So I beat him up.
Well, that's what
as you should have.
Bitch. Some bitch.
Right? But then my dad made me call my grandmother.
Okay.
You got into a fight in school? But grandma, he said you lived in a garbage can. You don't live in a garbage can. And you're in a wheelchair and I had to protect you. She goes, I can protect myself. You don't think I'm starting to protect myself? And I went, well, I didn't say that now. She's like, well, but if that's what you think, do I actually live in a garbage can? Well, no. She's like, okay. So did he deserve to get his ass whooped over something so silly? And I was like, well, no. And yeah, I felt this fucking
She made you
big.
see the logic in it, though. Yeah, she just made you see the logic in it. Yeah, of course.
Of course.
Yeah.
But that was,
of course.
But that was how it worked. We knew because our parents, even though a lot of our parents were working 2-3 jobs just to make sure the ends met, you know, and yeah, they weren't around us as much as we would like to, or even as much as parents these days are.
Mm-hmm.
We had to learn some shit on our own, but we knew what line to toe because if we didn't, we knew what was coming.
But we were survivors, bro. You couldn't fuck with us, bro. We're the last of the dying breed, bro. We're the last line of defense.
They say self-awareness is everything.
that died with us, bro, because that was the last thing that we had, bro, that nobody else I think has. I really do believe that self-awareness thing, it's a completely different thing. It's a generational thing.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, man.
For sure.
Yeah. Well, listen, I mean, guys, go ahead, Pete.
No, and I was going to say too that the mental awareness thing really didn't start popping off till 3 or 4 years ago. You know what I mean?
Yeah, maybe 5, maybe 10, if you really want to push it back further. You know what I mean? You know,
right?
The little small fringe stuff, but yeah,
right. So
yeah.
Why couldn't we use that excuse?
Of course.
You know what I mean? Like, look how much shit.
Of course,
that was it. You know?
Right.
Stop
correctness.
I'll
right.
give you something. I'll give you something to crap out.
Right. You know what I mean?
Meanwhile, I probably had autism. Pete, you probably had ADHD.
I do.
ADD or something, right? Yeah.
Something shit.
Jay got something. I know he's dyslexic or something over there. Backward ass.
He probably got ADD too.
See, look.
Yeah, if you don't believe I have ADHD, you're out of your fucking mind.
Yeah, you see? Exactly.
Yeah, I
so
definitely had
we're just
ADHD,
self-diagnosed, motherfuckers.
Yeah.
They didn't have those things for us back then. You know, that there was no.
You had to survive.
You know, they just gave us Ritalin or whatever they could. Oh, he's just hyper.
Not me.
He's hyper.
They tried. I didn't take it.
I got told.
Good. No, I'm glad you take it.
Suck it up, Buttercup. That's what I got.
Suck it up,
Buttercup.
I self-medicated.
There you go. Yep, exactly. There you go.
1 out of 3.
Self-medicated, boy.
And then 0 out of 3 at the age of 37. Just took him a while.
Horrible.
But I'm finally glad that you joined the pack.
I was an adult who could make an educated decision on if I felt like that chemical needed to be in my body, and the answer was yes.
Yes, it is.
Constantly.
The answer is yes.
Yes.
Finally.
It makes me more palatable. I really am.
There you go. Guys, man. Again, I'm glad that we could, laugh at the end of this podcast because at the beginning it was really somber, and I don't know, it's tough to talk about something like this. It really
it's a sad
is.
subject. It's gonna upset us every time it comes up, and you know what? It should be something that upsets us, so we don't forget it. So we actually fucking do something. Every we jump off here, Will says, Jay, do you have anything to say? And more often than not, it's just be safe, keep your head on swivel. It's usually something like that. You know what? I do actually have something to say tonight about this. I do, and I'm glad we have this platform to speak it, and I hope that this word gets out to as many people who can hear it. Start being generous to those you don't know just because you don't know what they might be going through. We're going to go a lot farther if we start actually working together and stop working against one another. That is what I had to say tonight. A lot of these things may be not avoidable. But you know what? It would be a lot easier to get through it if we all stuck together instead of pointing the fingers at each other. That's what I had to say about it. This could have been avoidable, maybe not avoidable. But you know what? It's tragic. It's sad. We had to start off tonight somber because of obviously how tragic it is. Let's not forget it. Let's keep that feeling. Let's make sure that we use this as a crux to change. That's what this should be. This should be our first step into change.
Yeah. No, let it. I just hope it does. Change for the better. Hopefully, I am optimistic about it. You know what I mean? I don't know how long it's going to take. again, as we talked about earlier, it's not going to go overnight, like Pete said, to make this a Titanic turn to the right or the left. You know what I mean? It's going to take a lot more time and effort. But at the same time, we can all agree that something needs to change, and hopefully something that we can change does some type of effect. I don't have any answers one way or the other. But at the same time, I can only hope that we can figure this out. At the same time, I hope all of your kids are safe that are out there. Our hearts go out to those families that are dealing with that. It sucks. It's not even sucks. There's no word to even put out there how much this is just an unbelievable tragedy, guys. And again, I hope it never has to happen again. But I want to end tonight with the names of the 21 victims that were involved in the shooting. And I hope you guys give your positive thoughts, or if you believe in prayer and all that stuff, prayers to those families, and just give them positive energy, because that's what they need at this point. It's going to be a long road for these families. This is going to affect them generationally. And the 21 victims, of course, McKenna Lee Elrod, 10 years old, Layla Salazar, 11 years old, Miranda Mathis, 11 years old, Nevaeh Bravo, 10 years old, Jose Manuel Flores Jr., 10 years old, Javier Lopez, 10 years old, Tess Marie Mata, 10 years old, Rogelio Torres, 10 years old, Eli Anahana Garcia, 10 years old, Eliana Torres, 10 years old, Annabelle Guadalupe Rodriguez, 10 years old, Jackie Cazares, 9 years old, Uriza Garcia, no age listed, JC Carmelo Luvanos, 10 years old, Maite Yolanda Rodriguez, 10 years old, Jaleel Nicole Sigilero, 10 years old, Irma Garcia, 48, is one of the teachers, Eva Morales, 44, one of the teachers, Anne-Marie Jo Garza, 10 years old, Alexandria Lexi Anaya Rubio, 10 years old, and Alethea Ramirez, 10 years old. Our hearts go out with you. We love you. There's nothing else to say but just love. And we hope that you guys find some type of solace in this hard time. That's it for tonight. I'm Will Martinez. Thank you, Pete Abreu, Jay Galosi, and we'll see you guys again next week.